to America's Third Party.
It's awesome. I'm glad you're here. It's Friday night, so let's have some fun.
And it's Freedom Friday, where we're free to be ourselves and enjoy each other. We're driving through the tour of life here. You know, our show has been a regular position for the past, I don't know how many, 7 years. We've had a 4-hour show, and we've varied it. When I first started, it was a 10-hour show.
Yeah, that was too much.
We did 10 hours for 50 days, right up until 2008, when Obama, the election in November of 2008. And I kind of got in the groove of doing 10-hour shows, but it was much more relaxing to do a 3 or 4 hour show. So we've had a good run, and we're going to continue this show all the way through the next decade. Yeah, just keep it going, and eventually we'll hand the show off to you guys and have multiple cameras, and you'll be able to communicate with each other. You know, I'm kind of concerned that some of our channels, like the Vaughn Network, hasn't brought in live co-host events for us. I'd like you to work on that coding. I think that'd be great. We used to have it with our blog TV show, where we could co-host with people live. I would prefer that. All right, let's talk about the State of the Union, shall we?
Yes, it's very good-looking shirt. The State of the Union. The State of the Union?
Yeah.
Not the address.
No.
Just like the State of the Union. Well, there's been lots of mass shootings.
There has been.
Or rather, some people say there's been lots of false flags.
This is, yeah.
But, however, people do not want to give up their guns, nor should they. And people are very, very concerned with many of these, especially the San Bernardino shooting.
Yeah, definitely.
People are very concerned. It's not getting the, if it is indeed, some people say it's this false flag designed to get us to be more invested in going after Syria and ISIS. And actually, it's done quite the opposite, I find. You know,
I'm hearing Americans all over the place saying, this is ridiculous. We don't need to hear about this ISIS all the time. And now...
And why are we trying to save all the whole world when we have other issues to do here in our own country? We have many, many problems that we need to solve right here at home.
Right. We
don't need to bring the problem home, which is what seems to be happening with the current administration.
Yeah. See, San Bernardino shooting. The attacker pledged allegiance to ISIS, they're saying, and according to a couple people, this story is completely bogus. Scissor Fight, we've been looking at the story from all different angles. We still haven't seen the 14 bodies being pulled out of the morgue or put in the morgue. There are reporters still waiting, and the police are waiting for the reporters to leave, and the reporters don't leave. So there's like this endless concern for more evidence. And this person that keeps popping up, he's an FBI director. He appears at every one of these things, spokesman. He was at the LAX one when they were. They said it was an active shooting at LAX. He was the same guy where the chief of police in LA was stumbling on words and referred to them as actors. And this recent San Bernardino shooting has revealed numerous times when the officials involved, even the police, describe these people in the event as actors. So if they are trying to portray everybody, a bad guy, as an actor, then maybe there are actors, crisis actors, involved in the actual event, which kind of makes sense. If the government was going to try to trigger any type of a popular view, they would use the media, right? Well, since 1975, it's been revealed that the CIA has been using the media and printing stories in America and infiltrating all of our news services, except, of course, this show. We're a completely non-connected American show, pretty much organic, and a grassroots political movement in the making here. Let me bring in my title here. I forgot to put that out there. Hold on just a second. There we go. I'm David Sponheim, running for president in 2016. And
I'm Sarah.
This is Sarah. We're running a plan to help our country grow, both economically and in a way that would make us feel good. Whereas right now we're not very happy. And we've got a very interesting grouping of pictures. I want to put this online because Scissor Fight sent us this picture. Yeah, it's not the Native Americans. It's.
What do you mean it's not the Native Americans?
I'm going to talk about the woman.
Oh.
The alleged first photo of the female shooter involved. Scissor Fight believes this is a photograph that's been faked. Let me play the video he put together. It's just basically the photograph. And he believes, and I'm going to zoom in on it, that there's some sort of a augmentation done to the face. He believes this has been cut and pasted. Now you see how closely the lines are pasted on. He's looking at it closely with even better photography, but the scar does look kind of fake. Yeah, for sure. Interesting. The lines are straight edges. See them? That's a sign of photoshopping when you see straight edges anywhere. And any halftone or binary image combined with that. So this is pretty interesting. If we are seeing a false flag, which is the suspicion of a lot of people here, you don't have to side with us, or Sarah doesn't believe it's a false flag. You certainly don't have to be a person who goes out of their way to believe everything is a false flag. I mean, I just hope that our country is somewhat protected from lying going on by the CIA, but we're not. And that's my biggest concern, because there's been no action since 1975 to get the CIA to show what they're doing and manipulating the news to control public opinion. Now, that's a serious problem in a country that claims to be free and democratic. Seriously. Hey, Arcady. Hey, so let me show you another album of Mashable pictures that Sarah and I are both Native American ancestry. We both have some Native American ancestry. I have a little bit. Sarah has a little bit. These are photographs that were recently found that Scissor Fight brought us from 1904 to 1924, the North American Indian. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And they said back in the day that Indians felt that they didn't want their photographs taken because it would take their spirit away. They didn't want that. Now, hopefully these spirits are still intact, but...
well, I'm sure they're just as intact as yours and mine.
Wow. Talk about a penetrating look. Look at that.
Yeah.
A Navajo Native American, I believe. She appears...
So it'll say probably down below.
Ah. Quahatika girl. Quahatika.
Quahatika.
Yeah, and these two, 1910, a young member of the Apache tribe. Whoa. That's intense. Look at that. And then Escati of the Apache tribe.
Escati of the Apache tribe.
Interesting. Okay, we're live, and we're going to look at some of those photographs later, obviously.
Later.
Yeah, I can't spend the whole night doing that. We're going to look at the news, too, and see what's going on. Okay, let me read some of the chat here. Sorry. They are uglies? What?
What?
What? How? People are beautiful. I have an Algonquin history in my life. I can do a little search here and show you what an Algonquin Indian looks like. You might see some resemblance. No, they're not photoshopped. Everything isn't photoshopped.
So the Washington Times said that he erased his digital footprint the day before.
Who did, the shooter?
Yeah.
Okay, I've often said that this is a person that looked like me. But, nah. I mean, I can see some similarity, but...
Your lips don't stick out like that.
Oh, yes, they do.
That one, maybe.
Yes. Anyway. What's happening over there? Okay. They got your nose. Now I have a Roman nose. It's roaming all over my face.
Oh, that would be weird. Okay.
You say I have a monkey lip?
I like David's lips.
And how close are you to getting out of this chat room without a ban? Frankly, I'm not sure if this was an ISIL attack.
Well, supposedly the woman involved prayed to ISIS before she went on the attack.
I know, and all of that can be fake.
Supposedly he was somehow, I don't know. Anyway, somehow involved as well.
Well, I must tell you,
Anyway,
Sarah's
I'm
going
gonna
to
take
take
a
off for a
little
while. Thank you. I can stand here all night long and worry about ISIS until we're red in the face, or we can look at what's really going on behind the attempt to push us closer to war with Syria. So that's the bigger question. And the San Bernardino killers erased the digital presence the day before. This is interesting, yeah. So that's a very interesting aspect. Erasing the digital presence could mean they didn't have a digital presence. Maybe they were just, common people that were targeted. And then they were put in a situation where maybe they were the victims. Wouldn't that be interesting? What if SWAT came down on the two actual people and they were just victims, innocent people that were targeted, and then they blamed the 14 people dead who didn't die because there are no bodies on these two people? I mean, it's like a self-wrapping murder case. It's got a sealed conclusion, signed, sealed, delivered, and they're dead. And dead people don't talk. They don't tell tales. Who you calling Monkey Lip? Yeah. All right. Well, this is interesting. I'll have to actually read it.
At this stage, we do not yet know why this terrible event occurred. We do know that the two
hang on.
individuals.
The person who really doesn't have anything to say is speaking. I have to stop it.
Equipped with
Thank you.
weapons.
Nope. Stop talking, please. We're well. Let's be clear. We're going to sure. Yeah. So, okay. Well, let's be clear. Here's that couple apartment tour. Oh yeah. Why is it that they always mess with my my flash on Firefox whenever I play one of those clips from ABC or CNN? It's like they take over your flash system. It's really bad code. Hey, so you're here, I'm here, we're doing the show together. I hope you all had a good night. Let's bring on some guest chat and see what they have to say, being Sarah's gone because she doesn't like to be attacked. A pic of you? Really? Well, it sees MSNBC is not even popping up either. And I just upgraded my Firefox. Interesting. That's a big link there, Noble Watchman. That's going to take a long time for everybody to look at your face. Okay, guest chat is enabled. Some of you want to chat, you can. Feel free. I was being harsh earlier on a lot of you sexual harassers who were calling me names. Yeah, how convenient. They erased their data. They erased their data. You sent me an email. Uh-oh. Well, I'm trying to piece this together. I'm like every other American. Okay, here we go.
See if anything of importance was marked on the calendar here, and nothing there. And it's just a typical sort of calendar with pictures.
Yeah, I wish that they would get their act together on MSNBC. I don't know why they're having such a problem. Oh, this is a YouTube. Oh, okay. Okay, the first video inside the attacker's apartment takes viewers on a tour of California terrorist apartment. This could be a standard,
Some of the other items here. I can kill the light. Let me turn the light off. There we go.
Okay.
But I don't see anything really on the wall. I want to take a look at the calendar and see if anything's marked on the calendar.
Oh.
And I don't see anything. That's November, so let's go to December. Just see if anything of importance was marked on the calendar here. And nothing there.
This is absurd. This is so unlike any crime scene in the history. I mean, I'm shocked. Why would MSNBC be allowed to get in there and look at a random apartment of these people? I mean, have you ever seen a crime scene situation where they open it up a day after and the news crews go in there? It's so staged. It's unbelievable. 979 says, wow, that MSNBC raid of that apartment this morning was so staged. I've banned somebody who did that, Drag King. That's a terrible Photoshop picture. Somebody really wasted their time in that one. think media would not be allowed in there until, yeah, I mean, this is a no-brainer. What's wrong with these people? Well, they're psychotic, and they work for the thugs that run the country. Yeah. They didn't allow. The thing is, the FBI, they're trying to create an event that happened. But were people killed? How many people were killed, and where are their bodies? Where are the bodies of the Sandy Hook children? Are they in the graves? Because we don't have any view of that. America, no public oversight. Freedom of Information Act has been squelched on this one. You can't violate Connecticut state law and research any kind of an autopsy photo. Oh, I'm serious. Connecticut state law made it so that you cannot look at the photographs or anything to verify something happened. So the only other option is to have one of the children or a couple of the children, exhumed and get their parents to approve. I'll bet there aren't even parents out there to sign an approval on an exhumation. I bet there's nobody out there who can actually respond. Someone knocking on the door, there's nobody there. In fact, there's a gag order against anybody actually interviewing the Newtown people and the Sandy Hook, the parents of the Sandy Hook elementary school students that allegedly died with no blood evidence at all, except for a few drops outside of the Sandy Hook Elementary. And where was the surveillance footage of the Sandy Hook shooting? I mean, they had ordered a surveillance system, yet we have never seen any surveillance footage of that event that day. You know what's really happening, folks? I'm going to tell you what's happening. We're being completely lied to on a daily basis, and they're testing us. They are testing us. Yes, that's it. And all of these things are so fake because they're trying to give us a little, leeway to see what we do. So none of us are building any political movement here except for America's Third Party. Nobody's out there trying to build a movement about questioning government. We're relying on our Democratic and Republican leadership, and they're not doing anything. They won't even respond to your call if you call them up and say, hey, man, I think this is fake, sir. Representative Blowjob, or whatever that person's name is. I mean, they could be, Representative Prostitute. Yes. Hello, I've been calling you all the time, and you don't respond. Well, thank you for calling. Yeah, Mr. Prostitute or Miss Prostitute. That would be our Congress. You can't get them to respond. I don't have relationships with anybody like that. Whoever you know is Cookie somebody. Who's this person you refer to? Cookie. Preparation H, please. That's no way to introduce yourself to the room telling people you had a bowel movement. Wow, you are so anally fixated. It's unbelievable. And Johnny Cardinal says, yeah, it's all Illuminati. And then that brings us to another question. What is the Illuminati?
And it's just a typical sort of calendar with pictures. Now, as I turn around here, I think I found something interesting. As we look at the floor here, this is a prayer rug. So this prayer rug here...
Oh, come on. Oh, God. It's like a tutorial. Yes, and this is where they bend down, and where do they whip themselves? Some of the Iranians actually, face the north and self-flagellate, with a little whip. You heard that, right? Not some. I mean, most of the Orthodox Iranians do that. Okay, so Scissorfight says the day after the shooting, December 3rd, there's GoFundMe pages everywhere for everybody involved in the shooting. So it's just one false flag after another, and they're saying, excuse me? Johnny Cardinal, he hasn't said anything outrageous. Yeah, I've been tracking his chat. He said Sandy Hook wasn't real. I agree, it's a false flag. Dave, was the Holocaust real? You're serious? Hey, yes, it was. Yeah, there's no way you can fake bodies being carried off in large, trucks and dumped into mass graves and film that. And back then, even if they had animated that, it would have been incredibly hard to do. You look at animations from that time period, you're looking at Donald Duck and, countless other stuff that hardly would imagine. Yeah, the Holocaust is real. Can you not see? Many people died. Millions and millions of ethnic minorities. So, And anyone who questions that, there's lots of pics. You want me to show pictures of the Holocaust? You're actually expecting me to show you pictures of the Holocaust. It's time to check the news. This is just not supposed to happen. Okay, contrary to popular belief, men use Planned Parenthood too, and they love it. Oh. Now they're talking about Planned Parenthood like it's a good thing. Like we have to talk about men and Planned Parenthood. This is, wow, talk about molding public opinion. You know what I'd like to see be done at the Planned Parenthood offices around the country? I'd like them like honed down to just one office where they do the abortions. And then the rest is just a kiosk outside where they hand out sexual disease test kits, STI and STD disease test kits. Something Charlie Sheen should have gotten 4 years prior to exposing people to that. You know, I have no information on Brittany right now because she's not in the lineup. As you can see, Brittany is not, she's not scoring the big one. San Bernardino right now is the number one. OPEC, Scott Whelan. Donald Trump, of course, gets a guaranteed because he's part of the Fed. Yeah, it's hard to fake film from the 40s. It really is, believe it or not. It's not that's not a joke. Scissor Fight's right. Well, Planned Parenthood works with women who have been raped and who want to have an abortion. I can understand
At this stage, we do not yet know why this terrible event occurred. We do know that the two individuals who were killed were equipped with weapons and
this kind of sucks.
Appeared to have access to additional weaponry at their homes. But we don't know why they did it.
Okay.
We don't know.
Thank you.
At this point the extent of their plans.
Thank you, Brock.
We do not know their motivations. And I just received a briefing from FBI Director Comey, as well as Attorney General Lynch, indicating the course of their investigation.
Okay.
At this point, this is now a FBI investigation that's been done in cooperation and consultation with local law enforcement. It is possible that this was terrorist related.
Possible.
But we don't know.
But we don't know.
It's also possible that this was workplace related.
Workplace related.
Until the FBI has been able to conduct what are going to be a large number of interviews, until we understand the nature of the workplace relationship between the individual and his superiors, because he worked with the organization where this terrible shooting took place, until all the social media and electronic information has been exploited, we're just not going to be able to answer those questions.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it. Okay, you can hang up. I'm done talking to him. Yeah. Okay, so let's be clear. Obama thinks gun control will deter terrorists. Yeah, really. What a joke. And he's running that story too. Okay, we've got a lot of stuff to look at. I just loaded it up in the hopper. And no, I'm not talking about hopper.
President Obama yesterday jumped to say that this mass shooting means it's time for common sense gun laws. Does the president really think that common sense gun laws would deter terrorists now that he has admitted these two may have been terrorists?
Yes. The president believes that passing common sense gun laws that makes it harder for people with bad intentions to get guns makes the country safer.
But so the president thinks that when there are potentially two terrorists sitting around planning a mass murder, they may call it off because President Obama has put in place common sense gun laws.
Well, Peter, we're still learning of the precise motives of the individuals who carried out this heinous act of violence yesterday.
I'm not going to continue the crap permeating in the mainstream media because we get enough of that on a daily basis, and I don't need to give you that. They're trying to frame gun control around this and at the same time bring in ISIS and then labeling these people as ISIS terrorists. And the FBI is investigating them as in terrorists. Guess 191 says the FBI said it's now being investigated as a terrorist act, and Obama he wasn't even up to speed. But regardless, this may very well be a hoax. This may very well be a false flag. So let's not jump to conclusions here. Without an actual autopsy, bodies, again, with every single one of these events, including Umpqua, including Sandy Hook, and you talk about the journalist that was shot. You talk about the shooting at the shipyard in D.C. and the lack of evidence. You talk about, I mean, the list goes on and on. The LAX shooting. It just goes on and on and on. Of all these things, we have no evidence. Now, this guy right here, he's been in the news. He was at the LAX shooting. He's the director of the FBI, I believe, and he was at the LAX shooting, standing right behind the LAX chief of police for Los Angeles, talking about the LAX. Same guy, same position, and again, they talk about actors all the time. Well, at this point, the telltale signs of it being a false flag, guess 1, 2, 3, is the possibility that the discussion of the actors has been popping up everywhere. They keep talking about it as actors, and I must inform every one of you that every one of those events has been preceded that day with a planned crisis actor event, a training exercise, and there is no evidence. You can laugh your head off, but there is no evidence. Again, nobody is seeing any evidence brought forth, no pictures of dead bodies. I'm telling you, it's flag time with Flagheim. Yep, actors. Preparation age. You stooped to new lows here. You're actually lowering the quality of our chat. You come on the show saying you just had a bowel movement, and then you're telling people you need a hand job. What is that exactly? Spell it out. Whew. Wow. So I have a couple other things I want to show you. Vladimir Putin singing.
For you were my thrill, oh Blueberry Hill. I'm glad you're here with me, baby. We'll see what we shall see. I'll bring my rose with me. I'll be with you where waves are blue. Each of them.
Oh my God, that's Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn visiting. They're at the event. Can you believe she's 70 years old? Isn't that amazing? Okay, here's the link to the Putin video, everybody who gets to see that. Singing Blueberry Hill and a couple other karaoke songs. I am not in any way a Russian, and I've never been a communist, and I can tell you that he's handling his country fairly well, don't you think? I mean, oh, hey, Drag King, hi. Oh, Omo, yeah, Omo says hi, good. Hello to Omo, too. Are you in touch with Omo? Omo couldn't handle all the guest chat. She did not like the environment here. She kind of, said, hey, I just can't handle it. A lot of people were criticizing her, and many people don't realize her story is compelling and has now landed her a position. She's going to be doing a show, allegedly. You heard about that? Oh, she is? Okay, great. She's got some sort of a thing worked out where her story is going to be talked about. Maybe somebody will, present this story in a more realistic manner for everyone to kind of understand the severity of what she's been through. Oh, you're doing a documentary? Even better. Hi, Oma. Yeah, I heard you were having some success and a mini-series on Lifetime. Oh, fantastic. She's going to be doing a mini-series on Lifetime, and they're doing a documentary about her situation. It really raises the concern for mothers and tracing the actual event of childbirth to the right down to the moment when a baby's born, ensuring that baby is completely safe and in good hands, and the mother knows that. Now that's got to be one of the most sensitive times in a person's life. And to have their body, going through such amazing experience, and then to not know if your child is actually okay, and then finding out your child died, and then finding out your child's not dead. I mean, all these things are going to make a really good story. Yeah. We'll find some closure here, because I know that's what you're seeking, is closure. So yeah, stars watching Putin. Is our country turning communist? Are all of these Democrats now joining Putin? Because it seems like Barack Obama has really upset Putin. And Liver Assist says he loves Vladimir Putin. Okay. It seems like Vladimir Putin is angry that he was called a jackass by our president. And he seems very concerned that our country has invested $500 million into the rebels, and he believes that ISIS is the creation of our government. And a lot of Americans are beginning to believe that. So maybe the Democrats ought to wake up and realize we shouldn't be fighting a war against Syria and pull our troops out, and so that the Syrian refugees can go back to their country and relax. They don't want to come over here and, have to wander around looking for food while we look at them with disdain. Many people will be doing that, And if Donald Trump is successful, oh my God, our nation will turn into a police state, and he'll be literally IDing these people like Hitler did with the Jews. No, I definitely want to stop the refugee crisis. I'm not in any way going to allow refugees into the country. And I've said the only pathway to citizenship is through the fast-track naturalization process, which we will make happen by the third or fourth month. We'll have that in operation at the embassies that these people have to go to. So they're not allowed in our country to get immigration status. They actually have to go back to their own home country and go to our U.S. embassy. And that's a much better plan. Dr. Hicks stole thousands of Georgian children. Oma's story is being, revealed as an even bigger story for all these women. So she's representing so many women who've been affected by this sick, weird freak, Dr. Hicks. And so she's teaming up with them for a documentary. Then I'm doing a mini-series on my whole story with all the murders and what happened to my boy. Oh, wow. Thank you. That's really good, Oma. Congratulations on finally getting some response from the media. That's good. Yeah, well, she could. Yeah, she should. Everyone has my number, 707 your ATP. But I don't want to make it a problem for anybody. All right. I got to tell you, the government's been pushing hard on our liberties, and it's not cool when people are trying to set up a sustainable lifestyle out in the middle of Colorado, and the state government tells people that they can't get their own water off their rooftop. It's really a mess. It's the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. People in Colorado are objecting because there's so many people now getting out there and wanting to grow marijuana, and they get a piece of property and they're going, hey, we're living off the grid, this is cool, yeah, we can get a license to grow, and the government tells them you can't get water off of your property, you can't live in your building because it doesn't meet septic code. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Here's your story. Cool. Preparation H has the story. What? Dude, that's not funny. Yeah, I'm going to purge that. This is why Oma didn't come back to our show. She was upset that all these people were making statements that were belittling what was really going on in her life. And you can see how clear her message is. So for people to belittle that, hey, stand back. The truth will get told, and eventually it gets seen. The truth is finally revealed. We need codes and laws. For what? You really believe that we should all be living under the control of a government that tells us what to do? Now, in my area, they never had a referendum or an initiative on the ballot, but the health departments decided that everybody has to have their septic systems checked every year at a cost of up to anywhere from $200 to $800, depending on whether it has to be pumped or not. So I face an $800 charge every year now that I never had. And this is our state telling us what to do. Now, mind you, septic's design is it's completely toxic, actually. the black water coming out of septics goes right into the water stream. There's no green-friendly solution in septic design today unless you start creating gardens around what's going on outside in the septic. So these codes are restrictive, overbearing, oppressive. I'm facing $800 a year charges if I have to have a pump done. I mean, this is crazy. What do they have to do with my crap or anyone's crap at any residence? What do they have to do with that? And how is this going to prevent any danger of the environment? We're already looking at a black water in the water stream situation. You found that story? Oh, really? Well, I don't know. Was that really your story? Dave, I always came in to listen to you. Thank you so much, Oma. Appreciate it. Well, I'm here to listen too. Well, guess 1, 2, 3. What would you do, he says, if there was another oil spill? Okay, I'm going to show you some technology real quick that will clarify what we're going to do. Now, Kevin Costner's brother developed technology like this that actually solves oil crisis. And I'm going to show this to you right now. This is what I would do. Okay, you're looking at a baraxial separator that takes the water and pumps it out of the ocean, and we could run a line all the way to the bottom of the
backyard swimming pool is an ocean.
Thank you.
By adding gallons of crude, a simulated oil spill disaster is created.
All right, so they're going to let that thing create a basic simulation of the oil slick that's currently under the Gulf of Mexico, and it's the size of Texas, they say. I know. So this thing can actually pull that water out and then spin it, and watch what it does. That's the answer. And we need to get Kevin Costner's brother on board with this. Kevin Costner, I think, has invested millions, $20 or $26 million into helping his brother get this thing going. We need to make that happen. We need to bridge that. Make that not just a venture capital thing, but an actual government contract. So the money that I would normally pay EPA workers to sit on their butt and smoke cigarettes. Hey man, how you going? Hey, welcome to the EPA. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna clean that up. Yeah, I'm working with environmental waste management. Yeah. I don't know what his name is. Can you contact Kevin Costner and find out? I'm going to fire that EPA guy smoking cigarettes. Oh yeah, all these lazy guys, I'm going to use that money to get Kevin Costner's separator to go. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? It separates the oil and it sucks it right out. No, you guys, you have a black and white mentality, Simonovich. What I want to do is a little bit of both. I want to shrink government, and at the same time I want to use government to create and stimulate the private sector. Yeah. It's not all or nothing with me. It's a little bit of everything. And I've always lived in the gray area. I'm not a black and white person. I'm a kind of a person that lives in the gray area, so I understand both sides, the left and the right. I understand the mindset of liberals because I'm a social liberal. But I am a fiscal conservative. So I understand the mindset of conservatives that want to save money and don't want to tax the hell out of the American people. So I don't want bigger government. I want smaller government, but I want it to be more effective and I want it to run like a business. Well, he already spent $26 million on it, guess 1, 2, 3, so he's already put the effort into making it possible. We just have to take it to the next step. We need to get this thing off the ground and fix this country. Anybody who thinks that my job is to go push pencils or walk around Home Depot and go, "Hi, how can I help you?" That's not my future. My future is about fixing this country. Now, you may want to work at Home Depot and say, "Hi, how can I help you?" I'm not going to do that. I don't care about what you think of me. I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm going to get better and better at this as time goes on. As you can see, I'm getting younger. I don't know how this phenomenon is working, but it might have something to do with the fact that, well, I'm eating right. I exercise, kind of like Richard Simmons. Go, 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 go! And I maintain a good, healthy lifestyle. And I avoid toxins and radiation. I'm funny? Okay. Well, I want to talk about something else because obviously Obama is framing this whole event on a gun control issue. His cabinet is framing it on a gun control issue, and then the FBI is framing it on a terrorist attack from ISIS issue. Making fun of Richard Simmons. No. I wasn't making fun of. I was actually thinking Richard Simmons was really quite amazing. Yeah. I was hoping for an interview with him. I think what his work is accomplished is he's kept a lot of people in leisure homes and retirement facilities fit, you know? Can you imagine Richard Simmons in the next 20 years? Okay, everybody, let's us play. You know, it'd be it's going to be humorous. You know, he's doing very well, though, and I wish him the best. Oh, God. You can't say anything anymore without some liberal saying, that's not politically correct. So the San Bernardino killers erased their digital presence the day before the attacks. Well, isn't that convenient? Seriously. I mean, hello? You are a liberal. Pretty obvious that you're a liberal. I'm not mocking Trump. You're fired. It's China. You're fired. It's China. Hey, cut it out. Don't talk about Oma in a negative way. Anyone who says demoralizing things about people in our show or who support us will be purged. So I don't know. I'm still processing this whole thing. I'm not of the belief that there's any serious need to respond until the evidence appears. We have yet to see any evidence. Jack LaLanne was way better in shape than Richard Simmons. I got to tell you, Jack LaLanne is one of my personal icons in life, and I didn't watch his show. 15 years he was on in San Francisco before he even went national. I mean, talk about commitment. But I never watched Jack LaLanne's show, and it occurred to me that, you know, obviously working out every day wasn't something everyone should do. But then I realized, no, I should have been working out every day when I was, you know, in my 20s. I used to run 5 miles, you know, every 5 days, you know, but I didn't work out all the time. So, anyway, let's talk about politics. I don't want to talk about Jack LaLanne. I'd rather talk about what's happening in the country and why we have no solutions. A lot of people are becoming kind of like mindless consumers. And they just sit there and, you know, eat their fast food and just watch. Yeah, Trump never mentions those 4 companies that went bankrupt under his watch. And if you want to look up an interesting article, let me see if I can pull this up. Yeah, the whole world is becoming kind of like mindless consumers, and I'm trying to elevate our level of knowledge and make us more alert and aware of corruption in our society. Interesting. Well, whatever. This is your alter ego. That's your alter ego. That's what's going on in your brain when you watch the TVs showing beautiful women and guys go on jet skis, and you're going, man, I gotta have a jet ski. This is you when you're looking on TV, seeing the lifestyles of the rich and famous, going, man, I gotta be rich and famous. That's you. This is you. You're like, I want to be here that way. I want to have money. I want to, you know. So, yeah, a lot of people just are on that hamster wheel of trying to become incredibly rich, and they never get there. And all the while you're working your butt off, you're thinking, wow, if I just work a little harder, I'll get on that, I'll be rich and I won't have to worry anymore. And eventually, you know, you're turning out to be like 80 years old or 70 years old, and you're still working because you got to keep that money coming in, because you know, for some reason you keep spending it. It's the circle of life. And then by the time you're 80, you realize, well, I better retire because I'm so tired, but I don't have enough money. And you're basically working yourself to death. and you never enjoy life. Well, that's nice. I'm glad we all have had conversations with Oma on the phone. I'm not, looking for a phone call. It's not something she needs to do, but if she wants to ever, she sure can call. Many of you are obviously obsessed with issues like getting a call from Oma, but okay, we're getting a call from somebody else here. Hey, hi, what can I do for you? Hey, what's going on, Duncan? What's happening? You want to show that to us? How are you going to do that? Why don't you play it for me right now? You can send the link. Yeah, send the link through the chat. Yeah, Duncan's going to send a link through the chat. I'm going to get that just a second. He made an audio clip to support us here. You have to know everything. Okay. Okay. Well, you want to play it? Play it right now, and I'll put it live if it's something I want to hear. This is Duncan's. Okay, go ahead, Duncan. Jack LaLanne's son has said he's going to take over the family's business. That's kind of cool. I was wondering when they're going to put Jack LaLanne's stuff online, I've been anxious to find that out. There he is, his son. Oh my God. Wow. He's taller than his dad. We lost you, Duncan, but thanks for the call. Yeah, look at that, folks. So apparently maybe they're going to revive the Jack LaLanne site. One of Jack's 3 children who told us, though we are saddened by our father's passing. Well, that was in 2011. Where's his, where's the business? I mean, you need to get a relevant TMZ link here. Okay, TMZ bum. Let's see if that's different. Oh, that's the same one? Okay. Yeah, all right, we're up to speed now. Who names their kid after a donut shop? Well, Jack LaLanne did. Thanks. Dave, will you oppose all United Nations treaties because they cut away from a piece of our sovereignty? We don't have any sovereignty. Guess 1, 2, 3. Yeah, America never declared its sovereignty. We're not a sovereign nation. We never were. Where did you get the idea we were a sovereign nation? Do you have a document you can validate that with? Oma has, here you go. It's something, the discussion about what's going on. Okay, this is the Hicks babies. Okay, thank you. The Georgia doctor's dark secrets haunts towns, folks. Very interesting story. Well, I can't wait to see this Lifetime video, I'll tell you that, Oma. Are you going to star in it? Are you going to make a cameo? Are they going to have you as an actress? I've never seen you, but I've been told you're very beautiful. Hey there, Ed. How's it going? Oh, you're the co-host. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Has anyone ever told you that you kind of look like Clint Eastwood? The director of the movie Pale Rider? Ed? Yeah. We know what Clint Eastwood looks like. Where have you been on the road? Yeah. Ed, you know, Ed's lived a life like no other, folks. He's really challenged and incredibly survival oriented to survive on the streets of America. Many of you have no idea how tough it is for these people. We all know, as being president, things can be tough at times. Tell me about a time when things didn't go right and what you did to get through it. President has to be strong. Guess 1, 2, 3. Well, Sarah and I met 2 years before my parents died. And please don't talk about Trump in a favorable way. Thanks. And Sarah had a chance to meet my folks and know them for 2 years while they died. Thank you. You like my comb? It's not over. Nothing's over. My hair is all real. All right. Well, if you lose your parents, you have no idea how bad it's going to be when it first starts happening. And I can tell you, it was the toughest time in my life. One died, and then my other parent died 5 months later. No, it was the toughest time in my life, actually. Then I got other tough times, but that was the toughest time. There's no wig here. This is my real hair. You can't do this with a wig. That's the pull test. It's the tug test. You can't do that with a wig. Yeah. Or any kind of a toupee. All right, so the story of Oma has, in case you just jumped into the room, has gone into the mainstream. And she's now going to be doing a documentary and a miniseries and co-hosting the documentary. So she's got some success talking about her problem. And she was very aggressive discussing her issues on the internet because she needed people to know. We needed to find out how women were being violated by this doctor, Dr. Hicks. And it wasn't just one. For decades, the 2,000 or so who live in the two former copper mining towns tucked away amid the greenery of free national forests have whispered about the illegal adoptions, the so-called Hicks babies. You can imagine having a baby being told by the doctor your child's dead, only to find out later that they'd been adopted out and your baby's still alive. You see, what's so compelling about Oma's story is that a woman can feel that her child is alive. A woman has a sense of intuition that's so intense that they can actually feel in their heart and soul that their child is alive. And that's something that, no man can understand. I, however, have amazing psychic perception, and I can empathize with what she's going through. You lost the signal? Okay, you're back? Good. Stop now? What? Okay. She's having a psychic banana. Ms. Hatsune is responding with her psychic banana. I'm not promoting any story here. Oma's the one who's promoting it, and Lifetime apparently is buying the rights to it. So, Dave, I'm going to get all bleeped up, bro. Well, why, man? You're going to kill your body. You need to treat your body and your liver with respect. Yeah, Oma has scientific proof. I know. It's all real. Miss Hatsune, please, I'm asking you to slow down. Slow down, make it last. Try to let your orgasm last. So many people have premature orgasmic moments in their life. They have to calm down. Okay, Japan fire, Fukushima, photos. That sounds disturbing. Let's find out what's going on there. Dave, what would you do to prevent further Islamic attacks? No, I've never been in porn, no. What I'm going to do is limit the refugees coming into the country by building a 1,000-mile fence along the southern border with Mexico. And that's something that I've been talking about since 2008, when Donald Trump stole my idea and ran with it as his. Obviously, he didn't know the hit points on how to fix this, but the Islamic intrusion into our country is now part of the Obama agenda. It's part of the Cloward-Piven socialist agenda to weaken our country. Okay. Yeah, he did. He stole my idea. We're pretty sure he went into Ustream, and I could probably subpoena the records and find out if it came from his server. But he came in as Donald Trump, and nobody ever comes in as Donald Trump and pays for a Ustream account. You know what those cost? Only a person with a credit card going, I want to talk to this guy. Hey, where is he? He's on Ustream, yeah. And he went in there and he gave us a few comments, and then we had a chat. And I said to Sarah, I said, it's 2012. That sounds like Donald Trump. It was right after the election. It might have been before. I think it was right after that. All right, here's the link. It gets lost. You can't load links in here, 989. Okay, this is just in the fire in Japan's Fukushima prefecture. Photos of this event. Okay. Is that for real? So it's a picture of the act. I can't do anything with this. I've never had a page where it just locks down on that one photo. That's the only photo, and it says photos. So they're clearly, not quite there. Photos of a fire. That's all we've got. This is about how much the elitists want us to know about a leak of radiation so strong it's equivalent to 6 swimming pools a day dumping into the Pacific Ocean. And now they give us one picture from RT. And that's Russian news. Yeah. The links are below. I don't see these links. It's not opening up for me. Something's wrong with that browser. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That was my big thing. I used to like Cocoa Puffs. Fruit Loops, not so much. Well, I don't see it. I do eat sweet things on occasion. I will occasionally have ice cream when I'm at a restaurant. But I've kind of avoided ice cream because, frankly, it's really a potential cause of sugar problems, hyperglycemia. If you consume like a half gallon of ice cream a day, you'll probably get diabetes, just so you know. You can send me a private IM, yeah, but I don't know if those even have links in them, but you can try. Yeah, so we've got a lot of processing to do of information that may or may not be true. No, I'm going to honestly say I tip 10%, not 15. So you have me on that. When the economy tightened up, I said, I really don't want to tip 15%, especially when I only eat at buffets. Well, it's not cheap. I tip. Cheap is when you don't tip at all. I always tip. But 10%, I changed the whole thing. Okay, here's a story that is emblematic of what happened to Oma. And it's a story that came out that she wants us to watch. Let's take a look at this. Georgia's Hicks babies, adoptees search for answers. Here's her story.
Since the illegal adoption started and more than 20 years since the news was broadcast nationwide. But tonight in Georgia, there are still hundreds of people looking for answers. They are among the Hicks babies.
This is actually happening. This is unreal.
Melinda Dawson hopes a DNA sample can help solve a decades-long mystery.
Okay. I want to know who I look like. I want to know how my sons got so tall. I want to know if my sons look like their grandfather.
Dawson is one of hundreds who say they were victims of Dr. Thomas Hicks. Hicks, a family physician who performed illegal abortions in the 50s and 60s in McKaysville, Georgia, also delivered babies and sold them to couples in off-the-books adoptions. Wow. Dawson says in 1962, her adoptive parents paid $1,000 for her.
And they were instructed to come down, come through the front door, pick the baby up, and leave through the back door, and go home immediately.
Dr. Hicks lost his medical license in 1964 and died in 1972.
What a scumbag this guy was. Can you believe what an evil scumbag this guy? I'm believing the story, yeah.
The medical records from his clinic were never found.
Did you come to get DNA?
That's why Dawson organized new DNA testing this year. Using more precise analysis, she believes can lead to family matches. Paul Payne was adopted in 1952. He's been searching for his biological family for decades.
We just want to know things like medical history. Where did we come from? Who was our dad? Who was our mom?
Like other adoptees, all he's uncovered is a birth certificate he believes Dr. Hicks falsified.
He put the adoptive parents down on the birth certificate as the natural parents. And that pretty much sealed our fate as far as trying to find our roots.
Hicks' granddaughter defended the doctor to CBS News. She says he was just trying to find families for unwanted babies. But that explanation is not enough for Dawson. After the DNA test this summer failed to turn up more matches, she's calling for another round soon.
We're in our 50s and 60s now, and this is this is it. This is our last shot.
Yeah, so true. Thank you for that link, Oma. Appreciate it. Yeah, this is a serious thing. And folks, let's kind of segue to something that we rarely talk about on our show, except on Freedom Friday. You know that you have the freedom to go around in life and hope that your kids are safe. You have the freedom to raise your children the way you think that you can raise them. But what you don't know is that law enforcement is not pursuing a lot of missing kids cases. What you don't hear about is law enforcement doesn't do anything about the missing children cases that are going on. If you go to missingkids.com, you'll find out that every year 55,000 kids are gone. I don't mean their mom and dad taking them on in a divorce settlement. I'm talking about gone. We're going to ask all of you Democrats to stop talking about Obama for a third term. That would really, make my day. Businessman's been on a separate subject. I'm going to go back to that child issue, but businessman says he talked to some Masons today, asked them if they were in the scenario and were wearing Masonic gear, and would they take it off knowing that people think they're behind everything, and all of them said yes. So basically this guy's on location is fishy. He's tracking the guy who is at the event, San Bernardino, claiming he was a sheriff. He's tracking that story and trying to find out why the guy was wearing a Masonic cap, which is triggering a lot of concern. He thinks that the Masons are being set up. All right. Now back to the missing kids situation. I have a website that deals with the missing kids cover-up. And I have this website at YouTube. It's called youtube.com/David John Sponheim, because that's my name. And I have a story that I did, a compilation of a movie that was done. Conspiracy of Silence was the name of the movie. And it talked about the Franklin group that was actually involved in the 1980s in Nebraska at Boys Town. And they were taking kids out and selling them as prostitutes to very wealthy politicians. I know, I'm checking the deep web, yeah. So if you want to check out that story, it's at my location, and I have it right here. It's a really interesting edit I did. It talks about Nancy Schaefer, the senator that was, she and her husband were investigating the Child Protective Services in Atlanta, and she completely died. And the police claimed it was a murder-suicide, but she was about ready to deliver a 2-hour video documentary that honestly would have revealed the truth about the Child Protective Services and all the problems that they're having. So here's the link to Missing Kids Cover-Up.
The centerpiece of the entire web is the use of children for sex and drug dealing and drug couriers, the compromising of politicians, the compromising of businessmen, but worst of all, the corruption of key institutions of government that have the duty and responsibility to make sure these things never happen.
All right, so yeah, it's a good video I made. It may be too loud, but it's loud because I want you to really hear it, okay? So check it out if you get a chance. Missing Kids Cover-Up. Thank you. All right. It's an edited version combined with the story of Nancy Schaefer and her death, which I don't think was a murder-suicide. Cool. That documentary, Conspiracy of Silence, never aired. It was going to air on a major network. I'm not sure it was going to be Lifetime or Discovery. It never aired. Somebody bought it, and they wanted to suppress it. And on a more recent note, many of you don't know about this, but this is an important story you won't hear on the mainstream media. Okay, I'll check the links. Just send it to my okay, thank you, Original Sky Sign. I'll check my Twitter. What's happening is we've got a situation where our country is not really helping people like Oma, we're not helping anybody who's facing unbelievable tragedies. And our government has not funded detectives enough to pursue cases like this. And we aren't doing enough. We really aren't. We could do a lot more. And one of the things I want to do is, when we build that border area down in the southern area near Mexico with a 1,000-mile border fence, I want to make sure that if we are dealing with a deportation issue at the border, that every Border Patrol agent will be a federal judge. We'll automatically give them federal judgment. Kind of a deputized judge situation where we allow them to give a trial to people. And one of the questions they'll be able to ask some of the illegal aliens coming over the border with their babies when they're pregnant will be, oh, so you've had your baby here, and here is your niño. Yes, okay. Well, would you like to release your baby to our modern orphanage system? And you can come back to America maybe later. It will give you visitation. Or you can take your baby back right now with you, and we'll give you a voucher for their baby's citizenship that she or he can redeem in 6 years. It's a simple opportunity for these mothers with anchor babies to just not give their baby, a free ride and get a free ride at themselves on our healthcare dollars, on our Section 8 dollars, on our welfare dollars, on our food stamp dollars, but just give women an opportunity to give these kids a good life in America. And many women will actually say, yeah, I'll keep my child and I'll come back. But right now we're absorbing all these women that sneak over the border and have their babies here. And yet women like Oma are not getting any justice, not getting any oversight, and we have real legitimate children being stolen from Caucasian families. Are you with me? Because they're of high value in the child slavery industry. Let's hear the clip. You have a clip that you sent to me on Twitter, and you want me to play it? And I'm in the middle of a show. Can we play it tomorrow? Oh, you want me to go into Twitter right now and receive it? Well, seek and ye shall find. Yeah, sir. Okay, so many of you are kind of like sitting back, enjoying the night, thinking you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Yes, your son was blonde-haired, blue-eyed, so he's very much wanted, Oma. Exactly. Exactly. So this type of exploitation of blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids is going on all over the place. So many people, descendants of Norwegians, Swedes, Germans like myself, are potential victims of this child snatching ring that's been getting away with this in our country because our government is not doing enough. They're sitting there, doing nothing. Government workers are very much like the people that I'm representing here by the... Okay, let me log into Twitter and see if I can get that from you. I'm going to tip my head down so you can look at my hairline. Everyone says I'm wearing some sort of a toupee, and I'm not. Well, Aryans, whatever, 53% of our population in this country are 53% are Germanic origin, believe it or not. I'm not telling you that I'm better or worse. I'm not a racialist or a racist. I'm just saying, that's just a statistical fact. Hey there, 647. Thank you. Oh yeah, I bet you do, man. Searchingforjusticeandpeace.com. You busted a baby market and body part markets. You're free to look up the details of my case. I've done that. Really? You busted a body part? One of these Planned Parenthood things, Oma? Wow, you're doing good work. Okay, I'm checking my messages, and if you sent me a message, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen your name. It's a third party, man. No, I don't think that Aryans are a master race. That's absurd. No, of course not. Notifications. You mean there's a separate section for messages? Oh, okay. Thanks. That's how much I'm involved here. I will get more involved. I know I will. Oh, here is it, brother. Thank you, man. All right, let's hear what you got. Here's the song from Duncan.
First person voted out of survivor. David. Gone. Can you bring me your torch?
Unfortunately, I cannot play it. Yeah. Yeah, I can't play it. You actually pulled the Survivor theme song and mounted onto it. I can play it in the after show. Thank you for loving me. Stop it, Preparation H. Yeah, I can't play anything that would in any way be a copyright violation. And even playing 6 seconds of it, or 10 seconds, could very well have the entire video pulled off the air. I've got 3 complaints with YouTube cutting my videos because of copyright issues. Already. I'm fighting them. Well, I will play it later in the after show, once I'm no longer recording this show. But thank you so much for that. That's very kind of you to send that out and do that for me. I appreciate it. But why was I the first person kicked out of Survivor? I would be one of the guys the last. I've got lasting power. Yes, we are very strong. Germanic people are strong, it's true. But we've got a president who's obviously been photoshopped and is not really very strong either. This is not a real picture, folks. I mean, there's no way his head is bigger than the guys next to him when his head is traditionally smaller than everyone else's head. You want to walk in with a flag tie on and only the tie? Lot lizard? That's ridiculous. Yeah, we don't have to go there. Well, let's be clear. Let's be opaque. Okay, I've got a bigger background I want to bring in here. Make myself a little tiny Dave. And then I bring myself back to Big Dave. There we go. Hey, how's it going? I'm not going to make statements that you would believe or construe as racialism or racism. I'm just not. For the most handsome politician in the world, David Sponheim. Thank you. Well, I believe that our country is going to need a guy who is a visionary as a president. I think what we have with Barack Obama is a person who is a puppet, who did whatever any of his handlers told him to do, and I think he's in it for the money. It could even be deeper than that. It could be threats against him or Michelle. I don't know. I hope not. But there's got to be a reason why he hasn't been a good, strong president. And many of you Democrats and former Republicans or former Democrats probably don't understand why this guy's turned out to be such a buffoon. Well, the handwriting was on the wall. That's the bottom line. We knew from the get-go that this guy was a liar, a flim-flam artist, a con artist, if you will. And I saw it coming because I worked in the advertising industry, and I actually met these types of people on a daily basis. And you see these guys in corporate structures and middle management. They basically know nothing, and they just say whatever you want to hear. And that's what he's good at. So we've got a know-nothing middle management puppet for a president. That's what's going on here. And if you wonder why we are now angling towards war with Syria, it's Obama's fault. If you're wondering why he wants to open the borders to Syrian refugees, it's his fault. He sent $500 million to the rebels to create havoc in Syria. If you're wondering why we haven't got any accountability from our government on every issue, and they won't even step up and stop the NSA from unwarranted domestic surveillance of the American people, that's what's on tonight. Freedom, our freedom, under attack. If you're wondering why the two parties don't do that and Obama won't do anything, it's because they are owned. Corporate America and moneyed interests way beyond our country, sovereign individuals who have trillions of dollars, bought our government, bought our politics. And when I said earlier that our country is not sovereign, you check it out. There's only one single document ever written that gives our nation sovereignty, and that's the Paris Treaty of 1783, in which, and I quote, not a direct quote, I paraphrase. The King of England is the arch treasurer of the United States. And that the document that we wrote, the Constitution itself, in 1787, 4 years later, was a business note with the arch treasurer of our country, the King of England. That's the truth. That's what's going on. And in 1933, our country basically declared bankruptcy, and it was taken over by another shell corporation called the United States. The United States is not the United States of America. You may not know this, but it's a real mind blower, and it's Freedom 101 to know this. The United States is a different legal entity than the United States of America. It is. It's a corporation. Thank you. And they have essentially put this corporation in place as far back as the 1870s with the Act of 1871. I'll write that down if you guys want to research this. The Act of 1871 gave the United States Corporation and the Washington, D.C. itself the ability to run this country from a central corporate structure. That's when they started looking at departments. Department of the Interior, Department of Education, Department of Defense, Department of the Treasury. All these departments are much like you'd go into a corporation and you have a department of processing, human resources department, Department of Acquisitions, Department of payouts, accounts payable, whatever. This is a nation that is literally allowing a corporation to capture every state within the nation and manipulate every state. And the money that they borrowed, this 18 trillion plus, is on the United States corporation. The United States of America, like I said, has been bankrupt since March 9th, 1933. We've been bankrupt since that time. So I know that this sounds kind of wild, but we have an opportunity. This is actually a good opportunity for us to actually gain control of our country again. All we need is the political will to stop the two parties and build this third party so we can become a majority interest. In three parties, all we need is 34% interest. We can become the majority simply by getting the 34% of the vote or more. We then neutralize the hijacked government, the captured states. And keep trying to minimize your elation here because it's causing a lot of chat disturbance there, preparation. Thank you, Lot Lizard. So we are essentially going to have to take our country back, the United States of America, and have it resolved out of bankruptcy. And when we do that, guess what? We get all of our nation's country back. We never surrender a single bit of land. Much like any other bankruptcy, we surrender certain amounts of debt that we may owe. We no longer owe any debt. We tell the Federal Reserve that we're retiring your charter and you're going to have to leave by the end of 2017. In the meantime, we develop an infrastructure bank simultaneous to this whole process where we can start funding American jobs by giving people who are U.S. businesses who want to hire U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15 an hour, give them a 2% loan, contingent upon hiring U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15 an hour. So Obama's going to send 200,000 more Muslims to the U.S. This is he originally said 125,000, and people are going, what, huh? Well, apparently he's sending more. He wants to turn this country upside down, and as a Muslim homosexual that he is, he's doing a pretty good job of it. I don't have a problem with him being a Muslim or a homosexual, mind you. I have a problem with him lying about everything, including his Muslim allegiance, Islamic faith, and his homosexuality. We needed to know that. We needed to know that our president was a homosexual before we actually picked him in 2008. Israel's prime minister is on record. Ariel Sharon, the former prime minister, October 3rd, 2001, says, every time we do something you tell me America will do this, and we'll do that, I want to tell you something very clear. Don't worry about American pressure on Israel. We, the Jewish people, Sharon said, control America, and the Americans know it. Thank you for that, guest 335. Yeah, we've known for a long time that Israel believes that they have total control over our country. We realize that that's a problem too. So taking our country back involves keeping special interests out of the loop. Council on Foreign Relations, a private organization, has been controlling foreign policy and needs to be sidelined. We need a much more objective group to look at what's going on in Syria, and I will reach out to Putin and resolve the problems that Obama has created. In 2017, once I'm elected, I will actually breach the divide between Russia and the U.S., and we will now get to the table and talk about getting our troops out of Syria and Ukraine. That's what I will do for you, the American people. Unlike Obama, who wants to throw us under the bus, I will give you people a sense of peace and relaxation, because you won't have to worry about Syrian refugees coming into this country when I'm your president, I assure you. Now, somebody said that if they can prove that we're responsible for the Syrian refugees, we have to take them in. Well, if we want to look at that as a legal issue, international legal issue, we can. We will have areas at the Channel Islands and the Ellis Island will be available for temporary housing, and we have an area in Arizona that will house 350,000 illegal aliens. So we're more than capable of absorbing the 200,000 that Obama claims he wants to bring in. I will then process deportation and then get them out of the country. They don't belong here. But we cannot let them into this country. And if they are in this country, we'll use facial recognition and bring them back into the loop. We can revoke their green cards and bring them right back in once I'm president. But I'm not going to use the tactic that Donald Trump is using, where he wants to ID Muslims. That's ridiculous. It's absurd. Guy doesn't even know what he's doing. Well, yeah, we have a lot of areas down in the southern border. Arizona, Nevada, I would never break down the FEMA camps there. They're important in our national defense configuration. But across the nation, we've got FEMA camps that don't need fencing. We don't need to have fenced areas where people would be held in. That's absurd. But there are areas in the border that we need to have in place to absorb any kind of a rush on the border. Yeah, it's an independent, nonpartisan membership organization, think tank, and publisher. As president, it would be highly inappropriate for Obama to belong to the Council on Foreign Relations and the Policy Lobbying Group. So true. You said a mouthful there, I guess, 146. Yeah. Yeah, so many people don't realize Council on Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission are private organizations. Nonpartisan, independent. They shouldn't have presidents as part of them. I agree. Michelle is actually one of the leads in Chicago for the Council on Foreign Relations, Michelle Obama. Oh, okay, thank you. The long version for the after show. Cool. I'll play that. Yeah, they've been really particular about if anybody wants to fix this country, I want to hear the good things they want to do to fix this country, okay? I'm not shutting anybody down. You have a Fox interview, you got the pathologist revoked from Florida, then 4 years later the body parts come up. I know, yeah, okay. Oma gave us that interview. The special report. We'll play that later tonight in our evening show. For sure. We usually line up the videos. And folks, for all of you who want to catch us in the evening, past 9 p.m. Pacific, we do the show on the news tech section now of the Vaughn Network. For all of you on the other networks, we will run our show till about 10 o'clock on your network. But we go till 2 a.m. on the Vaughn Network in the news tech section. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, David.
Sarah's here. She's here.
I'm here.
We've got a pretty good show going on tonight. We've got a very vibrant and good chat room tonight. A lot of good, positive people. I'm really liking what we have tonight. We've had a lot of problems with guest chat in the past, but so far everything's going along. A certain amount of clarity is coming to the forefront. As Americans are being pressured into starting wars and gun control, the American people are becoming more awake, I believe. I think that's what we need to do, to especially challenge the two-party system in this push for war and push for gun control. I don't support either one of those. I believe we have the right to bear arms, and it's one of our inalienable freedoms, and they can't take that away. So where are they going with this gun control thing? How can they possibly keep trying to undermine the Constitution? I am not a robot hybrid. I am clearly human. My emotions are completely natural. As you can see, I'm using fluid technology to look more human. Anyway. Yeah, everyone should own a gun, right? If you want. You don't have to. I'm not requiring people to. Yeah, so Sky Scion did a really interesting audio clip merging me with the Survivor series.
Oh.
And I can't wait to see it. It's something I might just, but we can't play it on our show because it's recorded on YouTube, and they say, oh, it's a major violation. We can't play other video or audio that's been copyrighted. Okay, so a cop put a gun to a man's head during a traffic stop. Now he's facing 45 years in jail. Cops have become incredibly brutal. It's a big reality that we're facing now, with over 1,000 deaths this year. Unarmed people were killed by cops. The number keeps growing, and there's no oversight by our president, no rules put in place. So when this kind of thing happens, yeah, I don't really know what to say.
The cop is facing 45 years in jail.
Yeah, I know.
Get back in the car! Get back in the car now!
Sorry, it was really loud. I had to mute it. I'm going to bring it up at lower volume.
Get back in the car! Get back in the car now! I'm not going to tell you again!
That's funny.
Yeah. Cop faces 45 years. Wow. So that's the deal. These cops think they can get away with unbelievable atrocities against mankind. Prosecutors said Cunningham was not illegally parked when he tried to go inside the office and put the gun to his head.
He put a gun on my head. You're right. He put a gun on my head.
Wow.
Get back in the car. Get back in the car. Get back in the car.
Okay, so this guy was...
he was actually convicted?
He faces a maximum sentence of 45 years in prison. All right. He approached William Cunningham. He tried to go inside the house, Cunningham did, and Santiago pointed the firearm at him. I wonder, it said Santiago's behavior is flagrant, appalling, and isolated, said the police chief, Mark McGall. Now, he's currently suspended without pay, which is good. Sentencing is in January 6, 2016. But what did the guy get? I mean, he should get some civil reparations, don't you think, for the whole event? What do you think it's worth? What would that be worth to you, having a gun to your head? What's the cost of that? It's not exactly a non-stressful situation, is it? Is there some sort of a civil penalty that they shouldn't, possibly look at? Well, what would be the cash value? $20,000? $1 million? $2 million? $375,000? Your opinions are important. What would that be worth to you to have your rights violated with a gun held to your head? It should be legal to point a gun? I'm sorry, that's attempted murder. That's a capital crime, pushing a gun around, threatening people. $5,000 for a punch, $20,000 for brandishing a weapon. 5 minutes alone with the police officer. Okay. Well, there is no 5 and 10 cent store anymore. They're gone. What's happening with your hair? You got a loose one? I love the look. That's kind of cool. Sarah's here to talk to you tonight about your freedom. I'm not making a big issue about the NSA right now. I'll be waiting till the after show at 8 to talk about how they're going to have some oversight if I'm president. I will definitely have a group of Americans that we can talk, question, and analyze who they're really surveying and why. But I'll talk about that later. It's coffee time.
All right. Enjoy your coffee. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so that is interesting. I don't know if the guy, I don't know about giving the person money for that. Is it maybe give him the salary of the police officer? I don't know. You're about to go on a night shift, so you think that coffee sounds great. Survivor, Cyberland Triangle, Sarah. Sarah, I need you to bring me your, instead of torch, your Wi-Fi connection. Sarah, I need you to bring me your router. No, well, David's gone to get some coffee. No thanks, 279. It's time for you to go. Ah ha ha. 8910. There are actual Sharia courts across the globe, including America. I find that ridiculous. Doesn't Sharia law violate certain aspects of the Constitution? Yes, there's certain aspects that maybe could be considered, but other aspects I would say no, I don't want you to go. I was reading what Original Sky Cyan wrote. I don't want any of you to go. Please stay. Please. Please stay. Alright, anyway. Why? He drinks about 5 cups at least a day, but they're really diluted down. They're very weak coffee. Please don't go. Don't go. Don't go away. Please don't go. It's in about 1.5 hours, or Original Sky Cyan. So not at the top of this hour, but at the top of the next hour. There are banks that practice under Sharia law. The banks continue to increase the number of power. But, well, if the banks are practicing under Sharia law, they would just be giving money without any interest. Interest-free loans, that's basically what Sharia law is. At least for the financial one. Yes, 12 a.m. Eastern. Are you sure about that? Wouldn't know, Drag King, but because, you know, as you can tell, I can't look at myself. Why is my hair all ruffled? I decided to ruffle it. That's the look I was going for. The minion says, I'm 32 degrees Celsius freezing, or the minion's freezing. Hello? You believe everyone who is legally able to carry a gun should? I would say I would encourage you to carry a gun. I don't believe it should be a requirement to carry a gun. But I do encourage everyone who's legally able to carry a gun to do so, if they so choose, because I really believe in choice. I would say that would be a good priority for Turkey. No, it's weak because he just doesn't put a lot of coffee in it. 825. It actually takes the coffee grounds for your garden, and he puts it on the garden. No, I don't. David does not want to party like Charlie Sheen. That does not sound like something David would say. It sounds like something you might say, but not David. David's not that type of person. Yes, I do look like I'm ready to call it a night, and I probably am, but I'm going to have dinner with David later. Iran has evidence of illegal oil trade between Turkey and the Islamic State. Is ready to deliver the information to Ankara and the public, a state official said. Tehran has gathered photos and video footage of oil trucks entering Turkey. That's interesting. I don't know if Drag King has my cell phone number. I don't think so, because I'll say this much, he's been very good about not calling me. No, that's not true, 279. Thank you, Mo Green. You really like Mad Dog that much you would write it on a piece of paper and take a picture? Drag King. Seriously? No. You should not have my cell phone number. No, I would not like to do that. Thank you. Yeah, I suppose you could try to take me out to Burger King. That doesn't sound very appealing. Anyway. What? Obama mentioned 3 continents in the context of Islam? I think I'm going to go to bed when David gets back. Thank you. I usually try to give David a longer break.
Bless you.
Thank you. I obviously need to take care of myself. I know, isn't that amazing? The richest 10 billionaires in America have a combined net worth of $732 billion. So if you divide that among 20 people, that's more than 30 billion apiece. Less than 40 billion, but man, that's a lot. Billion. No. Yes, I drank orange juice this morning. I'll have another glass. And then I've been eating. I took some ginger, which I really think helped keep whatever this is away. A friend of mine was really sick with like over 100-degree fever. I hope not. 1639. I really hope I'm not sick. Yes, always thinking about you guys. How do I think that Americans should deal with Muslim extremists? Prison? Maybe, but it all depends if they commit a crime, then definitely prison. You could send me some red ginseng root. That sounds good. Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I just think I've been working a little too hard lately. Yeah, I get this really good ginger from Trader Joe's. It's called It's uncrystallized ginger. It's really sweet, but because it has a lot of sugar, but it's not the crystallized kind. And that's really good. I like that. Red ginseng roots good for everything. That's good. Aw, so Diane, yeah, that's sweet. I suppose David's not really into tattoos. He said if he definitely is glad that I don't have any tattoos because David does not like tattoos. Yeah, I kind of am, gotta race. I think I'm gonna just go lay down, go back to bed or something. Or go to bed, I should say. I was laying down a little bit. I'm listening to this new book it's actually an old book. It was written in 2012, but I'm listening to an audio book, I should say. There's a Trader Joe's up in Bellingham that we go to. It's a ways away, but we go up there. You can make a gallon of medicine off one root of red, whatever that ginger is. So do you grow that, Terrapin? Yeah, I think the ginger, I don't get the ginger slices. I'll show you what I get, but maybe sometime. Uncrystallized ginger is what it is. Oh, interesting. Russian Defense Ministry released maps and satellite imagery it said proved that Turkey is the main consumer of oil smuggled out of Syria and Iraq by IS. The ministry also claimed that the Turkish president and his family are involved in the criminal dealings. The U.S. doesn't care. NATO pushes onward. You grow ginger? It's easy to grow? Wow, how do you do that? You import it in sealed wooden boxes. Wow. Yeah, the candied ginger without sulfur. I think that's what I get, Mad Dog. You used to live in Blaine and you bought your couch up in Bellingham? That's cool, Mo. And you live within a 10-mile radius of me, Nubius? Really? You're my neighbor? I didn't know you were my neighbor. Buy some ginger and put it in dirt and it just grows. And you grow ginger in Washington State, the daddy one? I'm totally gonna try that. I've never tried growing ginger, and I love ginger. Oh yes, I remember you, Nubius. Welcome back. It was fun to see you at Pigfest, for sure. Oh, that's awesome. Very cool, 3168. You just have to eat this candy. It's made from ginger. Reed's ginger candy. Ooh, the little ginger candy chews. That does look good. I had some ginger candy chews from Trader Joe's. Those are really good. Oh, so this is, wait, and Terrapin, you're saying red, what is it? Red what? Ginger root is not profitable until it has matured correctly. You can't just grow it and sell it. But, oh, in the winter you have to keep it inside. And, well, I wouldn't want, oh yes, red ginseng. I wouldn't want to grow it and sell it. I would want to just grow it and eat it. I do like ginger a lot. No thanks, Mo Green. I don't smoke anything. Good evening, Beekman. Yeah, he is a little weird, Nubius. I agree. You grow ginger to make tea and you mix it with honey. Ooh, is the best. I bet that is really good. Do you make your own honey too? I've met these people that grow all kinds of amazing things and they, because they have a worm bin. I never knew worms were so amazing. No, we never got the stolen yard signs back. But that is really cool that somebody saw our yard sign in Virginia. Oh, you have a little farm at your house? That's so cool. The best thing you can there's this couple in Langley, Washington, and they have incredible worm. I guess, I don't know. They say they don't compost, but it's worm bins. And I would think it's compost. Anyway, it's worm bins, and they use worm castings, and they grow really amazing stuff. Yeah, and you can and the way they create their worm bins is they dig them into that's what I was saying. A worm bin is compost. I know. But they dig it into the ground. So, like, it's half foot in the ground and the bottom doesn't have any. You have one of those? That makes amazing soil. Because here in this area, at least where I am, it's very difficult to grow because all the ground around here is just like clay. It either gets too wet in the winter or like concrete in the summer. That's awesome. Mad Dog's giving me a tactical flashlight for Christmas. I can't wait. Can I send you some wet rock? Something for aerating? Use sea soil. What sea soil? Like sand? Black sea soil? I've seen little black things in the sand. Yes, tilling is a must. I have tilling, but it's just like the soil where, at least this part of the island where we are at, it's just not good. So I'm hoping getting some worm castings will be really good. A tactical flashlight is a flashlight that has incredibly high lumens. So it's a super, super, super bright flashlight. Yes, and they encourage, like, if you're in a place where you can't use a weapon, you can still take a flashlight. No, I don't live in the old. Oh, maybe I do. Middle island kind of thing. Old riverbed area. I don't know if this was a riverbed. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good. So I made kind of a chipotle cacciatore. That's how I would call it.
No, it's not like a regular knife. Oh, you made a chicken
chipotle cacciatore, and I'm going to put it on a bed of spaghetti.
Okay.
And we'll have some. Go ahead.
No, a tactical flashlight is not like a tactical knife. It's a regular flashlight has like maybe 50 lumens, so it's a brightness, whereas a tactical flashlight has like 1,000 lumens, and if you actually look at it, it can, for too long, it can cause serious blindness.
Yeah.
So
a laser beam is a tactical flashlight. I mean, it's dangerous. And
I know, doesn't David look sexy? David looks sexy. Somebody said that they live in Virginia and they saw one of your yard signs. They were so excited.
Oh, really? Are you serious? That's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Are you sure you weren't, driving through a certain area of Virginia? Because we've actually ran a campaign. Oh, that's right. We ran a campaign in Roanoke, Virginia, on TV.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was a cable TV campaign we ran in 2008. So it's possible. It's somebody from back then that saw us. I reach 15,000 people every time I run a cable TV ad, and it only costs $5. And I have yet to get any donations to run any cable TV ads. So
it's better.
we can't really run any cable.
Soil north up there, Nubius.
$5.
Nubius is the guy that we sat back by when we were at the Pig Fest.
Oh yeah, I remember him. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a
He's a
local.
local.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice to see you're in. Yeah, we've got a lot of good people in our area that are awakening to what's happening. You know, we support a strong military, and we support the idea of a strong nation. Yeah, that's a nice area between Passive Deception and Oak Harbor. That's actually, you get less jets right where you are, because we live in the Northwest where they have a naval air station called the Whidbey Naval Air Station, and we've seen so many people affected by these jets that I would personally limit the jet activity to strategical positioning as opposed to training. I would do the training primarily down in Mojave, China Lake area, where people aren't living under that area. Now, a lot of the strategic positioning of the jets is what we're all about. And I always thought when I moved into an air station that it was strictly, for tactical position, superiority. We literally are the eyes and the ears of the Pacific, and the Pacific Ocean itself is reliant on our base here. Our defenses are essential, but training? I mean, really?
Yeah.
Training exercises over a populated area of 50,000 people, it's...
At this stage, we do not yet know why this terrible event occurred.
Yeah.
We do know that the two individuals who were killed
this is the Obama
were equipped with weapons and appeared to have access to additional weaponry at their homes. But we don't know why they did it. We don't know at this point the extent of their plans. We do not know their motivations.
But the FBI is saying it's a terrorist.
I just received a briefing from
because when he
FBI
said
Director
that,
Comey,
it was
as well as
like
Attorney General
4 or
Lynch,
5 o'clock in the
indicating the course
and
of
then
their
later
investigation.
They found out that the
At
woman
this point,
prayed to ISIS before she went on her rampage.
Oh, okay.
And so then they started calling it a terrorist one.
Oh, okay. So now
22 tabs.
Yeah, I need to. What am I looking at? Ginger candy here? Oh,
You could close out of that.
Those look good.
I know.
Is it real ginger? Is it
Yeah.
description? It's really locking up our browser here. Free of gluten, ginger. Do we know how to buy this? Because we should probably order some. That's really cool. Hey, by the way, if you haven't heard, ginger is
Mad Dog
really
says
good.
they're delicious.
Thank you.
Well, we were talking about ginger because I sneezed, and
Well, you still think you have
too.
that? Oh, this is it. This is the feed. I'll just get rid of that.
So what
the
did
one.
they say they did the day before the attacks?
Well, they don't know because the day before they erased all their digital presence. So either these two people were targeted by local law enforcement as somebody to be eliminated, and there were no killings of 14 people, because yet we have yet to see any autopsy reports or any review of the crime scene. Again, without any oversight, every one of these events is going to be looked upon by the very aware media in the blogosphere and picked apart. Every single photograph is looked at. People are looking at everything almost like they're surgically looking for some sort of an incongruity, and they're finding it everywhere. Cops being referred to as actors, a telltale sign of no blood ever in any of these events. I mean, it's weird. Even the Paris attacks, all the sheets were covering every body, didn't have any blood coming through the sheets. How do you put a sheet on a dead body without blood coming through? So these are all questions that keep popping up. And the blog has a lot of people building their blog sites talking about what they think is not working out. And so the awareness factor is really growing in America. I really am impressed. And it's only because of the internet that we have this shared information source. And thank goodness we have it. We couldn't have had it at a better time when the elitists are trying to control the destiny of our great nation, forcing us into a war with Syria, and ultimately making us think we're all danger of guns, when guns are the very landmark reason why this nation is free and why we are destined for freedom. The Second Amendment is essential for all of us, right down to the individual protecting their home. And the castle law and the stand your ground laws are the same way. They really do have that ability to defend your home is so essential to the American people. And we should never, ever give up our guns. So these communist socialists who are embedding in the Democratic Party and trying to infiltrate the Republican Party, they're pushing this agenda using all these events, whether they're real or imagined. These events are their agenda, and it's a convergence of their agenda and these events that makes me very suspicious about what's happening right now. The American people want better. They want to be able to see clearly through their peephole.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone.
Yeah, it didn't rain. I'm so glad.
I can see all obstacles in my way.
Dun, dun, dun. You know, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. I saw B.J. Thomas play that live at the Roxy in 1981. I'll never forget it. Anyway. It never rains in California, but girl, don't let 'em warn you. It pours, man, it pours. Yeah. I lived in California for 35 years, and one of the things I notice about there is it does come down massively at one time, and then it stops, and then it's dry.
In California?
Yeah. And Scissor Fight told me they had 30 seconds of rain last week. That was all the rain they got. 30 seconds. Yeah. Well, the thing is, we are pulling all this information out because inquiring minds need to know. And that's why we do a show, because we want to share information and bring out new ideas. I'm not so sure Edward Snowden was not a plant. I believe he may very well have been a disinformation plant put out there. The fact that he got out of the country, I'm feeling good. Thank you, Beekman. The fact that Edward Snowden got out of the country so easily, undetected, and the fact that he's been living in Moscow where we have countless agents everywhere. I mean, I'm sure America has agents in that area, of course. I mean, why wouldn't we? It just doesn't make sense. He seems so protected. I don't know if everything he said was true. It may be they just wanted to spring it on the American people that we're being watched by in our Skype communications, our email servers. And like we said, the email servers are now being stored at our local server itself is required to keep all of our email transmissions, any record of what happened for 18 months. It's going to be an interesting police state we're living in now. And where did they decide that we were criminals and not just citizens? Exactly. When was it they decided that we're all criminals even though we're not? And they're all treating us like criminals? What happened in America when the citizens became criminals? Does anybody know what happened?
They stopped trusting us.
Well, they're telling us that they're watching us, not just us, but you, anybody, anyone in America. And they're trying to get a reaction. They don't know what the reaction's going to be. It's a test.
Idea. Sleep. I think I'm going to go do
get some sleep. Thank you so much for coming in. Sarah's been a great help. Thank you. And I turned the heater on, so you're all set. I got a jacket on. Guilty till proven innocent, and it should be innocent till proven guilty. In England, it's guilty till proven innocent. In America, it's always been innocent till proven guilty. Giraffe Brain says, take care. You know, I'm not an elf, Beekman. You wish.
I was making all my presents for Christmas.
Oh my God, Sarah is so sexy. Mo Green. That's a quote. Scissor Fight says goodnight.
I have a look on my face like I like getting a back rub.
Yeah, well, everything's sexy when people are enjoying life, you know. New York City's first micro apartment is 302 square feet. It costs $2,750 a month. This is the deal you could get in New York right now, folks.
For $2,750.
For $2,750 a month. Unbelievable. You could buy 3 houses in or rent 3 houses in our area practically. Micro
Or at
apartments.
least 2.
302 square feet. This is kind of tiny. Yeah. Sarah she's resting. Yeah, so you're all set there. We got the heater on, and it should be a little warmer. It is a little warmer here. Yeah, it is. We have much better weather. It got warmer recently. Thank God. I know. Who likes snow? I mean, there is snow. There's a heavy snowpack across the country right now. They say it's one of the biggest snowpacks since 2003. My page here, loaded at the bottom. That's weird. All right, I'm not sure why this is queuing up so long, but Sarah's going to take a night off and get some sleep. Thank you so much for coming in.
Let's go rest.
All right.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, this is it. Yeah. New York City's smallest apartment. That's probably going to be the sound that they'll kick me off the internet with. But look at that. It's got one of those Murphy beds, and the cubbies are nice. Yeah, if you're a gay man living in New York, this would be perfect.
The closet rack.
Closet rack is cool. Like that, yeah. Yeah, so if you're a gay man living in New York, this is a perfect place for you to hang out.
A tiny desk can transform into a 10-person dining table.
Wow. It
Kitchen
transforms.
Has a micro fridge, dishwasher.
Nice. That's a pretty nice place for $2,750. 9-foot 6-inch ceilings, yeah. You could throw like a tennis racket in there. You could work out your tennis stroke in there. Okay. They recently commissioned apartments can get smaller than 400. Now the project's almost done. And who has $2,750? I'm kidding, Irish legend. I just thought, many homophobes will come out of the woodwork getting a very aggressive in our show. Oma's not gay or a man, but he'd love to be in the closet. You would, okay.
They are like little mini homes.
They're mini homes, yeah.
That were built on top.
They're micro apartments, yeah. So they took them all together. I'm really excited about this, and I'm getting more excited every day. I can't wait till I move to New York and move into one of these things.
I'm not moving into one of those.
Can you imagine me living in New York? I've been invited to this thing in New York. Gawker wants me to be at a debate. I can't imagine going to New York. Yeah. I just can't. Yeah, I just won't do it.
That's an interesting thing.
Yeah, but I'm not flying. I told him I'm not flying to New York.
Well, why don't you say you could be there virtually?
I did. I said we should go online and do this whole thing online.
Yeah.
That's what I suggested in an email. I haven't gotten an email back from them. So are you partying hard tonight? Are you having too much fun? You need to calm down. Slow it down a little bit. We haven't even started the entertainment portion of our show. Rock and roll, yeah. You see how easy this show is? It's almost seamless the way it just flows along, and then we segue to our Can't Stop audio. She can't stop.
We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't.
So let's be clear. In this coming election year, please vote for David Spawn High, America's Third Party.
For president.
So I guess if you're anybody who'd like to be in that closet.
We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. Can't stop, and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. Can't stop.
First we hit 'em low, then we hit 'em high. Underrated, but we made it to the finish line. Rhymes designed to combine and intertwine. Spring to the summer, fall, even winter time. Beats banging harder, been head-on collisions. We make incisions with precision.
and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. Can't stop, can't stop, can't stop, we can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. Can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop.
All right.
We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on.
Please vote for David Spawn High. America's Third Party.
Can't stop, can't stop, can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. Can't stop.
All right, thank you.
Can't stop.
Take it home, yeah, take it home. We're coming to the end now. Yeah. Love it. Thank you. Something's going on back here. I'm not sure what. All right, thank you. Whew, that was good. I enjoyed that. Now I want you to step into my closet. And I'm not really in a closet. And I'm not going to say I'm coming out because I'm not gay. So that would be inappropriate if I said I was coming out. I basically am a raging heterosexual. And I want to just remind everybody that you can't afford $2,750 a month. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know how you people in New York are living. But what happens if the government were to look at the structure of our payment schedule, and cities like New York, which pays their cops over $100,000 plus benefits per cop, what if we paid our cops in New York $45,000 and gave them a place to live for free, kind of like the living environment at the fire department in your local area? Well, that's just one of the ways we could actually turn something like this amazing house structure into a livable environment that would be stackable, and we could have modules essentially like these built where people could have a place to live. You know, so cargo containers would be your home. But it still would be a lot better for the city of New York because they're running out of money, if you know what I mean. I don't think we were talking about that, Drag King. Okay. Thank you. And I think you're treating Oma with a little disrespect. You've been known for that, Drag King. You should stop that. Yeah, you oftentimes go overboard. Man overboard. Yeah, just keep it in check. All right, thank you. All right, so many of you are no longer wanting to talk about the closet. That's fine. Drag King, do you have anything to say about the closet? All right. Nothing? You don't want to have a moment of shared reveal tonight just to find out more about you? All right, so back to the party. We have forgotten about the party. Cargo containers, yes. Let's not forget cargo containers. I feel a kind of anti-climax, though. You notice it was like totally anticlimactic, so I have to get something back up here. I'm going to play a song I created on acid by Sony. I know they won't kick me off the internet for this. And you'll notice that her flopping on the bed is to the beat. Come on, let's go. Yeah. This is Linda Blair and The Exorcist. All right, so we have other things to talk about. Yeah, obviously in the news. Scott Whalen died. Yeah, really sad to hear that. Yeah, former Stone Temple pilot singer is dead at the age of 48. He kind of looks a little like Charlie, doesn't he? Slider. Okay, let's find out. A vocalist who also fronted Velvet Revolver died in his sleep. That's weird. Sorry to hear that. It's another human being. Let's take a moment and reflect. Scott Whalen's tour bus bedroom contained a small amount of cocaine. according to Bloomington, Minnesota police. Doing coke at 48 years old? God, that can't be good. Authorities also arrested Wildabout's bassist Tommy Black. Whoa, for a suspected possession of cocaine. No kidding. So you think this is a cocaine overdose? Yeah, maybe. Sounds like a hired hit to me. Yeah. What did he know? Okay. This is a story I didn't want to bring to you, but it's coming out of the White House, of course. Corruption Chronicles has this. Yeah, it's called Middle Eastern Man Arrested Near Mexican Border with Steel Cylinders. As if it couldn't get any weirder in America. Five young Middle Eastern men were apprehended by U.S. Border Patrol this week in Arizona town situated about 30 miles from the Mexican border. Law enforcement and other sources told Judicial Watch this. Border Patrol agents spotted the men crossing a ranch property in the vicinity of Amado, which is located about 35 miles south of Tucson, has a population of 275. Two of the Middle Eastern men were carrying stainless steel cylinders in backpacks. Why? JW sources say alarming Border Patrol officers enough to call the Department of Homeland Security for backup. A multitude of federal agents descended on the property, and the two men carrying the cylinders were believed to be taken into custody by the FBI. Believed to be taken into custody. I mean, wow. Only 3 of the men's names were entered into the Border Patrol's reporting system. Well, okay, there were 5 men or 3 men? 5 young Middle Eastern men. Okay. What's strange is they were all carrying cylinders. 2 of them were carrying cylinders. Okay. The disturbing incident comes just days after 6 men, 1 from Afghanistan, 5 from Pakistan, were arrested in nearby Patagonia. Patagonia is a small little quaint town north of the Mexican border, city of Nogales. You know, that place where they have all of these incredible tunnels. 165 tunnels have been discovered down there. No real discussion of the cylinders and what they were. I mean, they could have been backpack nukes for all we know. I mean, what the hell? What the hell's going on? I'm getting depressed. Patagonia makes nice winter wear, yeah. I think we should probably get her a new bed sheet. What do you think? And you thought you couldn't keep the beat. Linda's keeping the beat. Crank it. You do this all night. You get exercise. Okay, we're going to stop Linda Blair and her... I don't even know who this was. I don't even know if it is Linda Blair. All right. I know. Something's not going right for her. Okay, so this is the America's Third Party. And we'll take this sign up to the big level. This is the voter revolt. We're right in the middle of it. I know it doesn't seem like a revolt, but it's an online revolution. And you're not losing any sleep doing it. I'm over here. Yeah, the nice thing is you can do your online revolution, have your nightly revolt. Now, this is revolting, I know. And it doesn't really, cause you any pain. You don't get arrested for gathering without a permit to assemble. You're not like driving 3,000 miles to D.C., but you can sit here and revolt anyway. Many of you are getting nauseous and will be looking for a doggy bag to start vomiting into shortly when I start talking about what's coming up next. Libya does not have a stable government. A large Muslim population still borders the Mediterranean Sea, so it's perfect for their new capital. According to Assad, will have the victory over ISIS and many of the remnants. Let's take a look. We'll go to Assad. All right. Is this just a theory, Noble Watchman? Are you proposing this? Is coming from Act for America. ISIS is preparing a backup capital in case of its major center if Syria falls. So we don't have any control over Libya after the Benghazi incident. We no longer have a consulate and an embassy. So Libya could very well be their next nest, another haven for terrorism. Let's just all get fearful tonight and freak out about terrorism. Yeah, just make the whole night, yeah. I'm moving pictures around. Are you getting dizzy? Okay. Russia's to block the Turkish border with Syria. Now we're finding out more information from Noble Watchman. Yeah, Russia, I heard, was doing something, especially after losing their jet to the Turkish Air Force, shooting down their 2 pilots and killing them. I didn't hear an apology. I don't think Syria got it. I don't think Turkey made an apology for that. So here we go. You know, you create a vacuum in the Middle East like Obama and the Democrats did, create a problem with rebel troops getting $500 million, and this is what happens. Russia is ready to coordinate steps to block Turkish-Syrian border. So we're seeing response, and Barack Obama is still grandstanding without reaching out and seeking détente. He's still threatening Putin. It's amazing how freaky Friday can be, isn't it? Thank you. Welcome to our show. Yeah, I'm kind of reading headlines here. I should probably go. The weather outside is wintry, and I'm wearing my leather coat. Yeah, everything's just great. I feel very, very holiday-like, festive. Isn't that kind of nice? It's kind of nice to enjoy yourself once in a while, isn't it? The fine line between radiated coat and failing green screen. There we go. Almost telling people to call police stations and tell them how scared you are. Scared of the police. Your local newspaper, yeah, they know exactly when terrorist attacks occur because they're orchestrating them. Yeah, that's why Barack Obama said you're going to have a nice Thanksgiving, and he was right. Wasn't Thanksgiving nice for all of you? No terrorist actions, nothing. I know. You know, and the fact is, since they created ISIS, they have this thing they can go to whenever they want to start a war. So they just say, oh, ISIS did this terrible thing. And now this woman, supposedly, is an ISIS woman. First photo of this woman is here. Brought to us by Scissor Fight. I showed this earlier, and Sarah was here. But she's there. And it's photoshopped. And Scissor Fight knows because he's an expert. He's an expert on a lot of things. If anybody can find flaws in a photograph, it's Scissor Fight. I heard the U.S. government down in Georgia, Minion, purchased 30,000 guillotines. I heard about that. You think that's something to do with the CDC stockpiling FEMA caskets? You think? You think? Do you think at all? Yeah, the burqa's definitely been added to her head, so we're not sure why the photoshopping went on, but it's clearly indicative of something wrong here. Yeah, it was around the time the FEMA camps were going up that they ordered the 30,000 guillotines. So do you think the guillotines are already at the FEMA camps? When I'm your president, would you like me to find that out for you? And send you a little selfie with me next to the guillotine? I will not allow guillotines in our country's FEMA camps. I'm sorry. I mean, whatever president you've got right now, scratch the notion of what he is, because he's not a president. He's a puppet. I will not allow guillotines in this country. And we won't have fencing around all the FEMA camps in the northern and central area of the country. That includes the west and the east coast. Primarily, we will keep whatever we have down the southern border to defend, obviously, against a population burst into our border. No, I'm not planning on engaging in a war with Syria. Greg, I'm not the kind of guy that Donald Trump is. He wants to send young men off to die in another war, yet another war. I'm a person who sits back and reflects on the Vietnam War, the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War and says, why are we involved in wars? Unlike Trump and unlike Hillary, who support the war, I don't believe we have any real goals there. I don't believe that anything in the strategy we've engaged in is going to benefit our country at all. And if you can show me some benefit of acquiring Syria and challenging the largest superpower in the world, Russia, give me a reason, please, because I have yet to see a credible reason, and don't tell me it's ISIS. Thank you. And by the way, tomorrow is our anti-war rally, where I will sit in the lotus position and try to achieve levitation. I just can't levitate. All right. Oh, wow. The handcuffed body of a San Bernardino terrorist whose Pakistani wife pledged allegiance to ISIS on Facebook during the slaughter of 14. Graphic scene. Because she's on the ground. This woman is allegedly dead. But for one, I don't even think that's a woman. All right. I don't know. That's a little too gross for me. Do you have the link? I sure do. It's from the Daily UK. Here it is. Yeah, what the legs crossed? That's the dude. Oh, it's the dude? I thought it was the girl. Why were his legs crossed? Who lays down and face down with their legs crossed? Yeah. David, your war at no cost position is kind of amateurish? What? My position of kind of simple. Beekman, you're so pissed off you can't even believe it. I just don't believe that we need to engage in war. I don't understand why we would want to have a war with Russia. Could you explain why we would want to do that? Tomorrow we're going to discuss the all-time question, how can war create peace? And we'll talk about that tomorrow night, Beekman. If you want to get prepped on that, we have a 12-step program for some of you chataholics, so you can come into our show on Saturday and discuss that. And you can explain to me how we're going to achieve peace by starting wars. You sound more and more like Henry Kissinger, Beekman. I don't know. I think I flustered you. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov described it as a planned act. Turkey refuses to apologize. This is one more straw to eventually break the camel's back. Eventually, Russia and China will invade the U.S. Noble Watchman believes that. And the U.S. says Assad is buying oil from the Islamic State. Again, this is true and is part of the reason America will strike directly at Assad, but will be unable to remove him from power. Yeah. Assad has 350 armed assault jets, helicopters, and God knows what else. And he's got Russia to back him up. I mean, so why would we even engage here? Excuse me, but am I the only rational person on earth here? I know you guys don't want war. Well, we have to ask ourselves, who's funding ISIL? And when I'm president, I'll be making a phone call. I'd like to talk to the Director of Central Intelligence, please. Thank you. No, I won't hold. I'm President of the United States. Put him on. Hey, Jack, how are you? I mean, Brennan. How are you? Good. We met at that cocktail party? No, we didn't? You don't even know who I'm calling? I'm not even talking to anybody. I'm talking to a phone. I'm making this all up. I would like you to not fund rebel troops anymore. We're going to cut that off. I know it's a black op. I don't want to... Excuse me? I don't have a say in this? Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm going to get the Chief of Staff for the U.S. Army on the phone. Can I put him on a conference call? Thanks. Okay, hold on, please. How you doing? Hi. Yeah, we're on conference with Director. It's going to go down as, no, we are not going to fund, as a nation, economic hits on countries and financing wars against military behemoths like Syria and Russia. I mean, it's absurd. It may have worked with Libya, guys, but it's not going to work with a country as strong as Syria, I assure you. Plus, it opens up that incredible backdoor to Iran, which could equal World War III. So no, I'm not going to go there. And I will make every effort as president to trim the ship and change the strategy. And I will work directly with whoever at the Central Intelligence Agency wants to work with me. And these pictures, Beekman, are disturbing. Yeah, I mean, why are you showing me pictures of elves and Christmas Santas? Could you wait till Christmas to do that? Thank you. Okay, State Department's issuing a worldwide travel alert until February 24th, 2016, about multiple attempts on multiple regions by this supposed ISIS group, which I believe is getting internal help. Yeah, I don't believe Hillary Clinton's got what it takes. I'm sorry. I didn't know that you were a Democrat, Double Watchman. It's shocking to me that you're in here now supporting the Hillary run. That's not exactly a supporter. I thought you were better supporter than that. You're starting to seem like a real interloper from the Democratic Party. I don't like that. And I don't want to create more fear. So I'm going to take this little story right here and kind of minimize it. As in really not make a big deal about it. Because I think what's going on here is, Double Watchman, you're starting to sound more like COINTELPRO. Coming into our show and generating buzz about fear and about Hillary. I don't like it at all. All right, well, don't keep it up, please. I will move to wherever, too. Yeah, the idea of Hillary or Trump really freaks me out. 806 says, if Trump tapped you as vice president, would you take it? What, take it orally or rectally? Of course not. I would expect him to be positioning himself for the receiving end of the VP position. Donald, how are you? I was wondering if you'd like to be my vice president. I know you've got a hearing problem. That's why I'm yelling. I think the guy's got too much of a focus on a police state, expanded deportation forces, IDing Muslims. I don't like and gel with that plan at all. If he were to implement it and I was under him, I would feel like we were subverting the rights of the American people, especially those who are Muslim. It makes no sense. I wish he'd think these things through, because if he thought these things through, he wouldn't have to steal my ideas. You're expired. My biggest fear in life? Well, it used to be a fear of rejection from a really beautiful woman. But since I found a really beautiful woman in my life, I don't have that fear anymore. Some guys always are intimidated by beautiful, really beautiful women. So it's just a natural thing. But no, real fear, being thrown into a pit of snakes and scorpions. That would be my biggest fear. Slowly being eaten alive by insects and snakes. That would be the worst thing, I think. Or rodents. Well, not necessarily in that order. It could be snakes, rodents, and then insects. What would be your biggest fear? Because, I mean, if you burn to death, it's like almost instantaneous. Your mind kicks into shock and you die. But slowly being eaten by insects or rodents would be a pretty sick, horrible death. The kind that, you would imagine the Walking Dead environment. Well, you see the Walking Dead show all the time, right? You see people being eaten alive by corpses. That would be a pretty scary thing. No, the Trumpish wig I'm going to be redesigning. Redesigning wig. Currently in operation. I'm going to redesign it. I'm going to turn it into a different haircut. I've got to get in there and start trimming away. They sent me just this, it was a Halloween thing. And I got this wild, weird English judge wig that looked bizarre. U.S. pilot confirms Obama's administration blocked 75% of ISIS airstrikes. Wow. Well, it sounds to me like this is a lot of propaganda coming out from you again. Again, propaganda. I'm not blaming you. I'm not going to hate the messenger here, Noble Watchman. I realize this propaganda is flying, and they're trying to create this justification for war. Yeah, I see it. It's happening. They did the same thing during the pre-Libyan attack days. Yeah, here you're just dumping them in here like daily. And why are you doing this exactly? To make us fearful? Terrorist alert. People are here to avoid the Vatican now. U.S. State Department warns Americans abroad to steer clear of the Vatican. Wow. So, are you working for the CIA, Noble Watchman? Or is this like a temporary position they gave you? David, when elected in 2016, are you going to have the FBI? Yes, we are. The answer is yes, 624. I know. Well, we're going to go in with drones first, of course, and we're going to analyze the situation. We'll get back to you on that. That's kind of an under-the-table kind of thing. We don't want to talk about that. But yeah, I will exercise extreme prejudice in dealing with armed jihadist groups. Yeah, that's an area of concern, for sure. What will you do to reduce the debt? Well, for one, we're going to stop spending so much. And, getting fiscal conservatives to unite and to lead on issues is the key. So I'll be working with anyone from the Tea Party, and of course, any Democrat who's a blue dog Democrat will, of course, have a regular place at the table when we discuss issues. A lot of you social spenders and you people who just want to spend, like the commies, like Hillary, I will listen to you, but unless you can come up with a way in which the government can get a return on investment, I'm really not going to be able to help you. We absolutely have to get this government to run efficiently. We haven't been able to, and it's got to come around. No, none of my plans require greater spending. The mobile medical unit will be built with the funds that are currently in the Superfund. In fact, we draw interest alone of $1 billion on the Superfund for the VA. Our billion of interest alone could go right into the creation of mobile medical units that will help triage people in need. Our housing and urban development plan, called a home plan, which is currently in existence, is already funded to the tune of $4 billion, and we'll be able to use that to help with a homestead renewal plan to create houses. Yeah, let me show you some of our ideas real quick, so you won't leave the table thinking that you didn't get anything out of the show. We have a lot of great ideas for the country. Here's a mobile medical unit like the one I'm describing. We're going to build 200 of these, $5 million a piece. The mobile medical units offer the bypass solution this country's looking for at the VA. So if anyone wants a $30 checkup, they could go there, as opposed to an ER ward, which will charge them $1,500 for their first 15-20 minutes. $30 versus $1,500, a lot of people are going to go for the $30 alternative. That's why. And the ambulances we currently have are not the kind of the ambulances we need. Though they charge too much to go where they're going. The average amount of money we pay per ambulance per mile is unbelievable. I'm not even going to mention it, but if you want to go 5 miles in a local ambulance, it's going to cost you like $3,000. I'm sorry, that's just not tenable. So there's going to be a lot of adjustments in the cost of any of our public services that are run by the government. All private services will continue to cost whatever they want. I'm not trying to change the private healthcare system. I'm trying to create a bypass. And this mobile medical unit VA system is just one of those ideas. It's not going to cost any more than what we're currently spending. And we've got to fix up our Veterans Administration buildings anyways, so it's a good match. And it makes sense, because Obama's neglected them terribly. He's just done nothing with this. It's atrocious the way he's treated the VA and the veterans. Absolutely atrocious. Yes, Islamabad is real. We were talking about it. Can you not see? So these are all hybrid capitalist solutions for the country, Beekman. And there's a terrorist alert for Americans abroad. Stay clear of the Vatican. So if you're going to be taking catechism at the Vatican, you may not want to go. You may want to go to your local priest to do a little communion. Yeah. What am I going to do about tort reform? Well, it's in our book, and if you want to read it, you'll be able to read a free downloadable issue. January, I'm going to release the first chapter. Every month, I'm going to release a new chapter on Kindle. It's a book we created called Hybrid Capitalism. And it's available at our store, at our website. Yeah. And the plan is to get this country to run efficiently and not waste government money like we do currently. It's just terrible. our country right now is dealing with a lot of corporate people that get their renewed contracts from the Democrats, Republicans. So there's this huge control mechanism that they're using to literally control the budget by paying politicians who are so in need of getting reelected that as soon as they get elected, they want to run for reelection. And the problem with like tort reform, Beekman, is we haven't been able to get these politicians to even think about tort reform because most of their money is coming from public unions, lawyers, individuals that want to keep the status quo. Tort reform would cut the amount of income for lawyers significantly. If we pass tort reform, like the kind John Edwards was proposing back in the 2004 election, he's one person, even though he's had some problems with FEC issues, I would actually, I'd have no problem having him consult on the issue. John Edwards was very key on tort reform, and I'd probably let him lead on that issue. Frankly, I believe that, we have to look at a plan to get lawyers to at least work for a 20% or 30% top commission, as opposed to 50% earnings off of every court case. We need to fast track legal situations. So obviously, incredible medical malpractice insurance is tied to medical malpractice cases involving huge payouts. And if we had a $2 million lid on payouts for medical malpractice cases, where we gave a person a cash award of $2 million, the attorney would get 20% of that, would be significant. $400,000 would be significant. The remainder would go to the person in cash award, and the person would be guaranteed health care the rest of their life with our public hospital system that we'll have in place. And that would be kind of tort reform mixed with a medical malpractice nationalized policy. And that would also apply to the private sector too. So lawyers in general would benefit only so far as they would take more cases in, settlements would be quicker, and they could the load of the legal system would be lightened slightly. I don't have a mixtape, but I'm working on it. We go hip hop to hippity to hippity, hip hip to hop. You don't stop rocking till the band stops playing. Sing up, chuck the boogie to the band of the boogie to beat. We go he-bop, rhubarb, Scooby-Doo. Guess what? America, I love you. Yeah. Make it happen. It's Friday night. You're supposed to be enjoying yourself. No, I want you to get me on the ballot. So the other great idea we have for our country is our homestead renewal plan to get people housing. And we also have a solar panel program where we're going to get solar rooftops in the country. So these are all part of our book, Hybrid Capitalism. It's the rooftop revolution. Okay, yeah, we have a suggestion. We should cap MD salaries. That's exactly what we're going to do. It will cut medical costs significantly, guest 624. Thank you for your suggestion. We're definitely looking at a situation where doctors at our public hospitals and our nonprofit hospitals will get approximately $150,000 per year. And if they have student debt, we'll be building a plan to actually get them to get their student debt paid for. I agree. The music was overpowering my voice. Hey, we're not working with a music board here, so you'll have to excuse me. Who's paying for this public hospital? The taxpayer? No. The public hospitals are already charging quite a bit. In fact, some administrators at public hospitals are getting up to $1 million in payment for their services. That will be impossible under my plan. No, I didn't try to become famous as a teenager. I actually, when I was 18 years old, somebody told me I could become a Hollywood actor. And I have no professional training whatsoever. Yeah. Mr. Hung, remember him? William Hung? No professional training whatsoever. Yeah, well, in 1978, I actually went out and had a picture taken of me which I have still about 100 copies of these things. They're called lobby cards. And I handed it to a couple agents, and they just said, yeah, whatever. Please don't the music. Okay. Well, I personally didn't really expect anyone to, find me work, but my employers said that they could get me a job in Hollywood. And I finally asked them about 5 years later, after I got nothing. I said, what kind of a job do you have in mind? And they said that they worked at Hee Haw, that they could hook me up with the producers of Hee Haw. Well, sure, yeah, email it to me, Beekman. Could you email me that? That'd be great. It was the 1970s. It was 1978. My sister is in Australia. She's enjoying a world-class tour of the world. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't work at Hee Haw. I was offended. It occurred to me that the idea of me working at Hee Haw was just, wow. So there's a story of somebody being deceived every day in the city of Hollywood. You can do this, that might work, but you're better off at AmericasThirdParty@gmail.com. That's a faster way. Do that. Connie is an amazing person. She travels, that as a lifestyle. She's one of those traveling people. She's very good at traveling. I've never gone traveling internationally like my sister has. She's kind of a very brave person. No problem, but take your time. Thank you. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on in our country that obviously need addressing, but I don't think we got a president that does that right now. I think he's been filling the gaps with a lot of talk. Talk is cheap. Reading off a teleprompter is easy. When put to the test, he doesn't have any new ideas, and I think the American people know that. So I think it's safe to say that we've had 7 years, going on 8, of what appears to be a lame duck president, just like George Bush. And ironically, he endorsed the war in Iraq and Afghanistan because he had to send troops back in. He didn't have a solution for the situation in Iraq. And now he's adding another war to the list. So you Democrats who voted for Barack Obama must be kind of miffed at his behavior, and Hillary wanting a war in Syria. So welcome to America's Third Party and our centrist vision for the country. I'm a former Democrat of 30 years, and I left the Democratic Party right when Obama appeared in 2007 and claimed he wanted to run for president. Prior to that, in 2006, Obama said he would not run for president. I know, Skynet is out to get you. Yeah, I mean, we've wasted 16 years. This is crazy. It really is. No, my sister likes to spend money, so she goes out and spends money on herself by traveling. I mean, what better way to do it when you can? Yeah, I can't play that Looking for Love song. Sorry. All the wrong places. Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. I got some great deals. 64, guest 64 says, David, any good deals on expired food for you lately? I got a really good deal on some expired food from my local wholesale club store. Some great deals on expired food out there, folks. Exactly. So if you haven't checked out a local wholesale retailer in your area, look around. Find out. Because what they're doing is they're taking food that's pretty dang good. We picked up packages of Justin's almond butter, individual packets. We got like a bucket full for $1 a bag, and we got 10 packets in each bag, so it's like 10 cents a packet. It's better than any deal you'll get on almond butter. That's just one of the things that stays fairly long in packets, easy to eat, especially if you're building bug out bags, survival bags to deal with a potential crisis in your life. And if you guys don't have one of those bags in your car, you need to build one. Even if it's just a duffel bag with some granola bars and some toilet paper. Something simple, seriously. But do that, because in the event of a disaster, you really are vulnerable. Everyone is. Well, I've never had bad expired food. If usually when it gets expired, unless it's turning purple and growing mold, it's probably okay to eat. I've got something on the stove right now that I actually have to turn down, my cacciatore. So I'm going to play a little video right now just to give you a quick view of how to create a survival bag. And then I'll get back to the show and close down the show in the next 15 minutes. But this is a survival video I created on how to build a bug out bag, and it'll give you a kind of just a quick tour of what I'm talking about, and I'll be right there. Hi, my name is David John Sponheim, and what you're about to see is how to make an urban survival kit on the fly in less than 10 minutes. Starting with your clothes, okay? Now what I've done here is I've pretty much double layered my clothing, triple layered my clothing, so that we have maximum clothes when you go out the door. Now, if you're traveling in a situation, you've got to be able to be mobile. And that means that you've got to be able to handle your clothes, keep them warm, and keep them on your body. Now, everybody's got a backpack. If you've got a backpack like this is a perfect urban survival kit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to pack it and what you need. Okay? Starting with the number one essential ingredient, water. You've got to have water. So what I've got here is one of these water bottles that filters on the fly. This will take swamp water and turn it into fresh drinking water. You got to buy one of these. They're readily available at any survival store, any outfitter in America. Okay, put that in the backpack. Then you got, this is an essential thing, you got a kinetic flashlight. You'll be able to shake it up. You can get flashlight power anytime without batteries. Fantastic. Okay, then, it's absolutely essential that you have a cooking supply. I recommend getting sterno. Okay? That goes in the base of your pack. Matches, really important. That can go in the front of your backpack so it's easy to get to. Get a lot of matches. You're going to need a cooking device, and I urge you to get something like this. This will actually turn into a frying pan. It gives you the ability to have a frying pan and a kettle all in the very same kit. Okay? You can make a lot of things with this stuff. All right, that basically is the start of what you've got. You've also got the desperate need for an air mask. This is a 3M N95 mask, which is recommended to protect against viruses. So in the event of a disaster, you're going to need an air mask. It's really important you have at least one of these. You can put this in the side of the flashlight. All right. Also, bring a washcloth, because you're going to need to wash yourself. You're going to need to wash yourself, all right? Bring those wet naps that you get at the restaurant. Dave, you're missing the precious metals in this video, the most important thing on the guns. Oh, sorry, Silverstack want to remind you that you should carry silver around, like a 10-pack of gold, of silver coins. Yeah. I use sterno, actually. It's very cheap, and it really provides cheap heat. And it's easily transferable, plus it's not liquid. It's a little bit more solid, like a candle. No, I can carry up to 90 pounds. If you can't carry more than 45 pounds, keep it at 45. I've been building my new bug out bags at 45 pounds. And they're basically just your common over the arm carrying bag that you take to an airport. I don't talk about guns and ammo. That's between you and your Lord. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes there's a 22 caliber survival rifle called the Marlin. With extra mags and some ammo, you can really be prepared. Yeah. The vehicle emergency bag is essential. Yeah. Road flares, reflectors, some tools. Yeah. Oh, no, I plan on living for at least 2 or 3 weeks with 2 people. You're going to need to carry at least 90 pounds. I've got a 10-day bug out bag for about 45 pounds. I've stripped everything down. I've got an emergency bag, which doesn't have a tent. It just has a small emergency blanket. Tarps are good. You know, I've got my eye on a couple tarps in the area. I'm thinking of getting them just as Christmas presents for people. It sounds ridiculous, but believe it or not, a really nice tarp is very helpful in survival. And brings lots of cord, like nylon cord. Nylon cord in tarping is essential. Play video. Okay. Later. Thank you. Does Sarah have beep, 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 beep? Yes, I carry all female products and male products, including condoms, with me in my bug out bags. An emergency backup of 10 condoms is absolutely essential, especially if you're out for 10 days. It's too bad people like Charlie Sheen didn't use condoms, you know? We've got a couple of survival experts in our room. You found a rustic Bic lighter outside one day and tried it and it worked. Wow, rustic. Or rusted Bic lighter, yeah. Okay. One of our supporters named Doopster, he comes in the evenings usually. He's going to be doing a show on the other competitive network, the one that begins with the B. On December 19th, he and his new girlfriend are going to be doing a cookie show, teaching people how to make cookies for the winter, for the holidays. But he has his eyes on some really cool tent stoves. And if you've ever seen a tent stove, it's pretty amazing. Yes, the water bottle will filter that. Yep. Check this out. This has got to be the coolest tent stove I've ever seen. You can set this up inside of a tent. I mean, I was like blown away. I'm going to give you guys a link to this because this is the gem of the world. It's like very expensive, but it's pretty dang cool. You can cook. See that thing on the side there? That's a 2-gallon container for cooking water. You can boil water in this thing. And on the top of the rack, you can cook anything you want, fry flapjacks, cook things like, yeah, check it out. And you put that in a tent. And they make these big canvas tents like the Army uses. And you make sure your top is secure so it's got some flashing around it so it doesn't burn the tent down. But you could pretty much be toasty, 75 degrees, 80 degrees in the middle of a 0-degree temperature environment with that thing cooking. Well, that wood stove in particular is probably the coolest wood stove I've ever seen. With the 2-gallon water tank on it, so you can heat water, you can have coffee on tap. It's pretty nice. And it's portable too. You can carry that in the back of a truck. Yes, you can. People do it all the time. Yeah. How do you think this country was built? People out there in the open terrain with a covered wagon. Tent had to be the only place you could be warm. How are you going to heat it inside without a tent stove? Yeah. You know what I mean? There's camping and then there's survival. Who needs the condoms when the 90 pounds of useless crap doesn't help you and has been put your butt out for survival? Ryan, thank you. Ryan's never had a girlfriend. He doesn't know what it's like to actually use a condom. Well, I don't want to be the one to tell you. Maybe you should get some learning to do. Someone in your family might be able to teach you how to talk nice to people so you won't alienate everybody around you. You know what I mean, partner? Well, apparently, Ryan, you've reached the end of the road here. It's nice having you, but get a life. Don't come back now, you hear? Thank you. Well, I don't like people bad-mouthing my room here. I'm trying to do a show, and you know that Ryan's got issues. All right, so don't build a bug-out bag. Just walk around with a really nice down jacket. Now, I recommend the Eddie Bauer collection myself. Sometimes you go to an outfitter or an outlet mall and find really amazing, well-fit North Face Eddie Bauer jackets. The down jackets are pretty buff. I've got one I picked one up for $39. It's better than this one. It's like a $200 jacket. It's all down. But that's the idea. Get something really good that'll cover your body. That's all you really need. Well, Eddie Bauer, to me, is not the best solution. There's a lot of really good outfitters out there, but it depends on what, line of clothing you really like, But yeah, I saw that. I said to Sarah, I'm going to get that for $39 at an outlet store. If you can find a $250 jacket like that, you should get it for $39. Don't spend $250. Okay, Missouri Democrat proposes placing same restrictions on guns as abortions. Really? Wow. So she's a Democrat, which is unusual. Missouri State Representative Stacey Newman pre-filled a bill Tuesday that would restrict access to firearms in the same way her state restricts access to abortion. A 72-hour waiting period for purchasing guns and watching a 30-minute video on firearms fatalities before purchasing. Well, why doesn't she just tell us what kind of underwear to wear as well? Maybe there should be a national requirement for all of us to have our briefs checked, maybe our butt examined while we're at it. Maybe she's one of those people that wants to check septic systems like in my neighborhood. You know that the Democrats have pushed legislation without even a referendum or an initiative in my area for everybody to have septic checks every year at a cost from anywhere from $200 up to $800 depending on whether pumping is needed. Seriously. I mean, they want to check your butt now. They seriously want to check your butt. You're going to have to check your butt in, and they'll have a meter to determine how much waste is coming out of your butt. I can just see it coming. The Democratic butt plug. Or you've got the potential for a Republican butt plug with the police state that Donald Trump wants to put together. That's a real winner situation. I mean, he wants to push his will upon every American as if he's somehow the king of the country and has divine rule. Well, I'm sorry, but we don't need that. We do not need a presidential butt plug. But lo and behold, somebody's actually developed it. It's available in 3 amazingly uncomfortable colors. And it is probably going to be shoved up the American people's butt by either the far left or the far right. Either one, they're both in cahoots. Yeah. General Lynch says talk bad about Muslims and get busted. Really? Well, I've never said anything bad about Muslims, so I don't think I could be busted. Yeah, I have said no refugees. That's not talking bad about Muslims or anybody. Yeah. Trump, my world-class memory is a little hazy when it comes to hiring a mafia-linked stock fraud felony advisor. Really? So this story is starting to come out of the woodwork with Trump. He's got all kinds of underworld connections, being he's the big, legend in his own mind that he thinks he is. Here he is, grandstanding yet again in the clown performance of a lifetime. Trump picked a mafia-linked stock fraud felon as a senior advisor on his team. I think you're getting the picture here. Trump says he's not that familiar with stock fraud felon he hired as a senior advisor. He knew a man he named as a senior business advisor in 2010 had been convicted in a major mafia-linked stock fraud scheme. Oh, wow. See, this guy's full of all kinds of deception. Thank you for that link, Scissor Fight. Yeah, I mean, you know what gets me about these other candidates? Number one, Hillary doesn't say anything. Donald constantly talks in a way that makes him get instant notoriety on the news. Because he's rich, he has notoriety. And no average American like myself gets any news play at all. That's the real problem in America. We don't have the ability to question our government. Clearly, we need a new third party to challenge that. Clearly, we need a better plan for America. But I can tell you that creating a job plan like this to create housing or putting solar rooftops together is just a small component in building this economy. It's going to take a lot more than just clever ideas. It's going to take a willingness of the American people to actually come together a little bit and figure out how we can get products built and how we can get our country back on track economically. And I have a plan that'll actually embrace green, clean technologies as well and give a chance for our government to take off and grow, you know? Because right now we've been stagnating under the two-party system, and you know that, right? I don't have to drill that home. I think the most important thing that's disturbing about our country right now, in my opinion, is, pull this down, is, yeah, I almost took off there. Perhaps the most disturbing part of the country is the brutality against innocent people who are just trying to, get by. The American South, well, I'd have traction in the South, believe me. I have a lot of Southern Democrats that support me here. It's the fact that he's got all that money is why he has any traction at all. Don't kid yourself. Without all that money, he wouldn't be anything. He'd be a big, huge, puffed parrot, simply parroting what he's told to say by his handlers, the Federal Reserve. I don't know if Scissor Fight's okay with my opinion on my green plan. I don't really have any alternatives to it than a green, clean energy and a production level that will help not only our country but other countries so that we could eventually sell products around the world. So I don't really care if Scissor Fight is on board or not. What difference does it make? At this point, what difference does it make? Get off your high horse with your attack on our individual supporters. You're obviously the Nazi. Freak on a Leash is the best video of the day, singing Korn, Obama. Let's take a look. Does he sing? Well, I've got a trained eagle with, this is not food coloring, by the way. And he's doing a really good job of sitting on my shoulders. Okay, well, obviously they're going to try to kick me off the air with me playing that on YouTube. Any little thing. Like I said, I've got filing a complaint against them pulling off my Thanksgiving show off of YouTube. In case you're wondering why it was pulled off, we had a video that was completely related to Thanksgiving playing on Thanksgiving, right? And the video was about a man named Burroughs. It was by him. And it was an alternative view. It was from William S. Burroughs, A Thanksgiving Prayer. That right there.
John Dillinger, in hope he is...
Now, me playing that little piece right there. All right? I just did that as a test. You saw the Thanksgiving video? Did they release it yet? Yeah, well, I just did that as a test to see if they're going to yank this video for the 2 seconds I just played of his voice. I'm sorry, but they're violating fair use policy and copyright law. It was unreal. And this is all, I played 2.5 minutes of this. That was all I did, and they stepped all over my freedom and literally tried to take that off. Now, I'm sure William S. Burroughs would have preferred his voice heard on a show, and it completely complies with the fair use policy of referencing something from Thanksgiving. I'm all about educating people. And they just pulled it. So I'm in there trying to, protesting it and trying to get that. And I'll see if tonight, if they pull it for that 2 seconds or 1.5 seconds I just played. Seriously. It's not that big of a deal, but I have a copy of that show anyway. It just blows my mind. But YouTube is got issues because I believe they're co-opted by the government. I look like I just woke up after a 3-day Coke binge. Really? Wow. I don't even know what that feels like. Are you a cokehead? Well, I would re-upload it, but I'm not going to push the limit. I really don't want to violate YouTube's rules. I've never really wanted to get in their face, but I mean, this is ridiculous. You're doing a show about Thanksgiving. You want to play an alternative view. It's completely under the heading of fair use. Yes, he did actually say the N-word in that video. That much is true. I will admit that. I've never said the N-word, and I didn't expect it. But William Burroughs and Lawrence, Kansas are linked inexorably. Inexorably. Yeah. All right, good to know. I'll read more about that. Thanks for the link, Hog Slammer. Anyway, it was a very alternative view that he had about Thanksgiving. I thought, why not? And then YouTube decides, oh no, we decide what is proper and what's not. I'm sorry, but I wasn't born in a country, an Orwellian nightmare called America, to turn into this disaster of a censored country where they literally either keep you out of the mainstream media, shun you, censor you on YouTube, or downright just discredit you in the foreign press. But I've learned that I'm living in that country, and you still call it America, but it's more like J'America, the Muslim version of America. It more like Sharia law or Nazism imposed upon the American people, almost a blend of Marxism and Sharia law. And did I forget political correctness? Oh yeah. No, it wasn't the music at all. It was actually, they told me it was his 2.5 minute speech. And all I was doing was showing people alternative views of Thanksgiving. And there's tens of thousands of videos with the N-word in it. I know. What about Obama's podcast, where he used the N-word about 3 months ago? I would never bend over and bow down. Trump could be my vice president if he kissed my ass. But I'm sorry, but he hasn't made a phone call here. Thank you. Would I consider running with a corporate pig? I don't know. You tell me. You think I should run with a corporate pig who's stolen my ideas? I know, it's ridiculous. You know, Guest 335, they're automatic copyright violations. YouTube is using a program that listens, and it's a very complicated computer system that can actually track every single soundbite there is. Now, I'm looking at alternatives for the upcoming years as I develop our show, but the goal is really to keep doing an authentic, real-time, organic, virtual political chat show on a nightly basis. Hello, Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris, the famous karate expert, is here. Hey, Chuck. I'm sorry, but the United States corporation is bankrupt as well. And a corporate pig who borrowed 4 times from the Federal Reserve to bail him out of bankruptcies really is not somebody you really want as president. So what I'm going to do for you here is give you a little taste of what the Trump catastrophe is all about. Let me see if I can pull this up. Here it is. This is from the New York Times, and all of you Trump supporters should look at this. Many of you don't know that Trump had a large plane crash occur where he was going to be on the helicopter. It was a helicopter crash, and he was going to be on the helicopter in 1989, and this is from the New York Times Direct. The crash killed 3 aides of Trump, but they were more than just aides. They were key members of the Resorts International staff that he had at the time when he declared his first bankruptcy. And he was very, very close to bankruptcy at that time. I mean, complete bankruptcy. So I just find the whole thing very interesting. Nothing. I can't fly to Atlanta, Beekman, for 2 minutes worth of work. But thanks for checking. All right, Trump is definitely not going to be a cakewalk. I'll tell you that. If he's president, he's going to implement a police state. He's going to do whatever the Federal Reserve tells him to do. He's no different than any other Republican. He wants war. He wants to continue giving free credits to banks. All the bonuses that Wall Street got will get even more with Trump. And we the people will get nothing. So you tell me why we would ever vote for a guy like that. Why would we want a corporate pig to run our country who simply borrowed money every time he was in trouble? When the problem with our country is whenever we're in trouble, we borrow money. Why would we want somebody who does that, which is the same problem that we have today, to repeat the same mistakes of the past? Why? I tell you. No, I'm not in any way like that. You know, I'm really tired of people accusing people of being gay. You know, we're acting like we're supposed to be politically correct and all, and nobody's supposed to discriminate, but people come in our show sexually harassing me on a nightly basis, claiming I'm gay, which I'm not, and it really pisses me off. It really does. Not for me, but for all the people in the country that end up having to be near you, because you're basically a scumbag piece of crap that is probably a homosexual yourself, and secretly wanting to be gay. And that's ironically the source of a lot of those comments. A lot of these people are bi-curious homophobes, they're little manlets living in their mom's basement, and they don't know what to do with their life, so they come in here and call me gay. It's sickening. It really is. Yeah, anybody who believes Trump is the answer has a nice retirement plan, right? Remember when Scarborough had his aide die in his office right before he retired as governor in Florida? Oh, yeah. I know. Yeah, that's a good story. Thank you. Well, this has been fun talking to you about that, but we really have a bigger problem to deal with, and that is police brutality. Now, like I said, Trump's all about a bigger police state. He wants to put together deportation forces. That's the wrong direction for this country. Hillary's the same way. She wants chips in our head. She actually supports the RFID program in the Obamacare and believes that someday our children will all be chipped. We can't afford to have Hillary as well. We're dealing with some atrocious behavior coming out of the Democratic Republican Party. It's unaccountable for what it's done, the mistakes they've made. It looks more and more like everything that they've done seems to be a repeat of the mistakes we've already seen in our country for years. No change, no benefits for average people. It's a joke. This country is becoming more and more disturbing as we go along because we aren't even seeing the political process work. All right, so this is the end of our show. Tomorrow we're going to have an amazing... Excuse me. We had to cut that audio off for a second. I won't pay attention to the idiots. Thank you. Congress will get right on these mass shootings. Right. They're going to be pushing gun control. Selective political outrage after mass shootings. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what's that about. I mean, are they trying to create the justification for gun control as usual? All right, so we're going to play you a video that typifies the dangers of a police brutality nation, and I do not stand for that. Tomorrow night we're going to talk about anti-war and preventing war, and how can we achieve peace by having more war, I ask you. Let's get to intelligent thought here, not just knee-jerk reactions. All right. And thank you, Oma, for coming in and bringing your story. Right after this video, I'll be playing that video that you brought, the report from when you were involved in this horrible tragedy. But now you have an opportunity to explain to other women what's happened to you and share your message on Lifetime television. Congratulations. And I hope you do well with your documentary as well. All right. Good night, everyone. Take care. Be back tomorrow. We usually start our show a little later, but 6 to 9 for sure. Okay? 6 to 9 tomorrow. The anti-war rally. But we usually have a pre-show. But we don't know when. All right, I'll check the video out. Thank you, Beekman. Take care.